Going live. Hello everybody, welcome to another OSP stream on this wonderful Wednesday. I am Blue, I'm joined by Red.
What's up?
And Cyan.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're going to be playing a little bit more Uncharted 4, just having a fun time, bopping around, raising some more money for Feeding America. We have restarted our donation ticker back at 0. So let's see how much money we can raise to help out people who are out of work, out of school, and need some food. But other than that, we're just going to hang out and have some fun for a couple hours, play some Uncharted right where we left off last time. And we are gonna get to it. Let's start with the cinematic and see what's going on. Let us know how our levels are, and we can adjust some things as needed. Every time Discord decides to just jumble all the dials, and then we kind of have to start from scratch. But
you and Red seem
right.
to be about the same level, which is nice. But
okay. For those of you who didn't tune into the last stream, we are currently in Scotland trying to find the tomb of one legendary pirate, Henry Avery, and we are being pursued by that lady, Nadine Ross, and that guy in the corner. Whose name I forget.
Can't hear the game audio.
Rafe? Oh, I'll turn the game audio up a little bit. Right now it's just kind of some dialogue, but hopefully when the explosions start happening, we'll turn it back down. And this douchebag Rafe over here, who's like just the like private school rich kiddo, everything that Drake isn't, complete inverse pirate or not pirate, treasure hunter character. But it's fun to destroy this man's career, which is what we're gonna do a little later on in this game. So we'll see how far we go. But yeah.
Classic villainous foil vibe.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we streamed. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Time isn't real anymore.
Time isn't real. Yeah, what
So
would
the question is, do you want to be able to hear the game?
Well, right now it's a cutscene, but later on, yes.
Because you still can.
Still can't? Okay, I'll turn it up.
You've been wanting to level this place ever since we got
All right,
here.
let's see how that is. Hopefully it's not too loud.
The same auction where I couldn't have my men around to deal with any
wait,
surprises.
The
hold on.
auction
Am
was the
I too
cleanest way
quiet?
to
But
get
instead
the
of going
cross.
schmuck
You sound like you might be cutting in and out a little bit.
You're really not. You can hear you, Red. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're not quite as loud as Blue because Blue is directly in front of the mic,
Yeah,
but you
I'll
can
try to
still
lean
hear
back.
you pretty well.
What you might want to do is adjust your sensitivity settings so it picks up slightly lower decibel ranges, so it'll pick up the beginnings and end of your words more, but you'll still come in at the same volume.
The Discord base audio desktop thing was supposed to fix that. Hold on.
Maybe it's time to move on.
Okay.
Is it an OSP stream if there aren't some variety of technical difficulties? I mean, I was staring at my computer trying to figure out why the PlayStation wasn't showing up, and it's like, there it is, I just needed to click on 20 different settings.
I'll let you know if anything turns up.
I'm not paying attention to this cutscene at all. I'm sure something important just happened, but
Nah,
whatever.
not
Hey.
really.
My sensitivity is about as low as it can be. I'm so mad at this.
Blue, you could also just turn our audio down.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Wait. You think she was right though? Well, what?
All right.
Rafe
See if
wanted
that
to
balance does anything.
As long as he doesn't get the upper hand, who cares? Doesn't matter.
And I've upped my own gains, so I'm a little bit louder. I hope that works.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good.
Annex area you
Okay,
suppose they
cool.
were talking about. There's gotta be some
Now,
side chick,
after
because
hearing
we're the only ones
the
here.
baddies have a bad guy conversation, where plot twist, the bad guys disagree, because that's what bad guys always do. Even Plato twigged onto that back in ancient Athens. Is like, evil organizations tend to undermine themselves because they keep trying to cheat each other out of stuff, because that's what evil people do.
Mind me?
Which is basically the plot of this game. So
Heck yeah, designated
Plato
bad
knew what
guy
he was
fight.
on about. I also realized that I'm completely daft because I haven't done our first donation to get the ball rolling. So as soon as we come to another cutscene, I'm gonna quick toss some money in to start our charity drive here, because I realize it's kind of ominous just seeing the ticker start down at 0. Gotta encourage people to donate by oh, there's more stuff over there.
A little too high to jump up there unless you got a
By
trampoline.
donating ourselves and leading by example.
Left it in my
Yeah.
backyard.
Take that out.
Gotta slide back and go through this perfectly placed hole
I do love watching the comments and see two comments right next to each other. Game audio too loud, game audio too quiet.
The internet.
Yep.
But I think we're good.
Good.
Hang
Next,
on.
I'm gonna take a nice break and drink this absolutely disgusting tea I have.
Coming up.
Ooh, what tea do you have?
Sorry, it's throat coat.
Oh no.
It's
Why?
it's really good for you, and like, you know, there's like tons of allergens in the air, and my throat's been a little bit like, so don't worry guys, it has nothing to do with the incident, but you know, my,
definitely getting
just,
closer.
I woke up and I was like, I don't really want to stream with my throat feeling like this the whole time, so I brewed
Gotta say,
myself a
this is
giant
far
cup
more
of throat coat,
sophisticated
which
than I was
basically tastes like
expecting.
licorice and misery,
too.
so,
Must have taken
the
years
dis-
to build.
Bridge is out. Gotta
Well,
find
there's
another
glitter
way
all over
across.
my hand. Great. That's never coming out.
Oh.
Here goes nothing.
Never in a million years. Cyan painted her nails slightly earlier, and now there is presumably glitter everywhere.
Very much slightly,
Oh,
as
no.
in I was still actively painting them while we were getting the stream set up.
Can I just jump on this? Yeah, I
Whee!
can.
Oh. Go
Good
ball.
thing you're not heavier than the crate.
All right.
Okay.
Blue, I just noticed a
the
problem.
plan?
What's
the
up?
donation link
working
is
on
not in the video description.
Oh, son of a... Yeah!
Biscuit.
Hold on. I'll see if I can find it. Everyone, nobody panic.
Oh gosh, it's
I
on
was
our
like,
Tilt
no
to
one's
5
done it yet.
Yeah, it's really surprising. You know, that would go a ways to explaining the difficulty.
Hold on, I'm
Whoops.
working on
Oh
it.
heck.
I want another cookie, but they're so crunch.
Oh. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of crunch.
I mean, except for the people who don't want to hear me crunching on a cookie.
Fair enough. Cyan
Oh, come on.
made some delicious oatmeal chocolate chip craisin cookies yesterday that are dangerously tasty.
I posted the recipe on Instagram because someone asked for it, so if anyone else would like to make
We can hook our
same
ropes onto
cookie, you
this.
can.
That'll work.
Do I toss this over here? Yeah, I do. Puzzle solving.
Okay, everyone, I've added the donation link to the description. If you can't see it, please reload the page real quick. It should be there. Really sorry about that.
Sorry, friends.
In my defense, I've been awake like 45 minutes.
In my defense, I have no defense. Wow, I just got...
Yep, donation link is in the description on
Awesome.
my end, so you guys are fine.
Just got no clipped off the side of that wall.
It'd be like that
Who needs
sometimes.
bridges?
Yeah.
Oh no, I wouldn't mind bridges per se.
Hold on.
Well, can't go through there.
To the direct donation.
So how do we get through?
Smart.
Who puts fruit in cookies? I put fruit in cookies sometimes.
Over here.
If they're oatmeal cookies, you can put fruit in it, just not raisins because raisins are the devil. And no, you cannot argue this
This
with
place
me.
wasn't completely falling apart. We'd probably be trapped again. Nathan, look around you.
Raisins
Oh, look
are
at that!
like...
We've already raised $25.
Ah,
Yay!
perfect. All it took was us telling
Doubled
people
into the
how to
ocean.
give money to this good cause.
Test
Like,
now
come on,
is
guys, just look harder. You gotta
how do we
want
get to
it.
the other side?
The
best
real
part is
quest
I
of
did
this
see
game.
One person be like, "Where's the donation link?" And I was like, "Oh, they probably just haven't found it yet." Well, because I assumed more people.
God
than
damn.
that.
So sorry, everybody.
I can't believe you guys weren't brute forcing possible character configurations into your search bar until the donate link came up.
Yeah, come on, everybody.
Cyan is wrong. Cyan is not wrong.
That
Raisins do not belong in
really
cookies.
safe looking one to see
Don't at me. I'm right.
Worth a shot.
Raisins belong in some things, not
Here
cookies.
goes nothing.
Yes, they belong in the bread. And maybe Irish soda bread if you're feeling it.
Here's the thing.
Physics puzzle. Great.
No, you're totally right. Raisins are terrible. I would like to extend this to all dried fruit
I'll weigh it down.
because, you see, to me, the appeal of fruit is that it is full of fruit juice. And when you remove that, you are left with only the shriveled, leathery husk of what was once something beautiful. And it's
That's
like,
fair.
yes, I would love to eat your bag of dehydrated apricots and feel like the world's most depressing vampire. Thank you.
Really makes you
Ooh,
Oh,
more
I died.
physics puzzle.
That's how I die. I forgot that you're supposed to go up on those things and not down. 'Cause down is where the rocks are. I'd love to see the Uncharted game where there's just one ledge that's slightly too far and just the game stops because you can't progress anywhere after that.
Oh god.
Don't be
But
glib.
it's got a really shiny thing on it.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Drake's
It's
like,
got like a
fitting-
ah, okay, fine, there's this one ledge that's like 6 inches too high. I guess I'm just gonna go home.
Or find literally any other way around.
I mean, like, when your jump animation is like this, it's amazing that this man can do any treasure hunting.
Hey. That's just his jump when he's not feeling it. When he's
Yeah.
really feeling it, it's like, excuse me while I launch myself 15 feet sideways over this.
He's just a cat, you know?
Speaking of which, I'm about to yeet my poor old brother off the side of this,
Do it.
this
Do it, you
seesaw.
won't. Nice.
Hey, nice air time. Oh, crap.
Uh-oh. Run. There we go. That's a hot with feeling.
I like how he caught you because, like, you did get one hand on the ledge,
test out.
and you theoretically would have
At
been
this
fine,
point,
but
I'd
he's
rather
like,
take
don't worry, I
another
got
death
you, man.
At this point, I
Like,
hope
we've
we're at
seen-
the end of this thing.
We've seen Drake the
Hey.
Nake climb
dramatic
better.
Drake the Nake?
Yeah, that's his name. Anyway, we've seen him climb.
That's the store brand version to avoid copyright.
Build elaborate tests.
Drake the Nake in Unmapped.
And his brother, Mass.
Never get used
Mass.
to this.
We had a friend in high school whose name was Sam, and we called him Sma to knock him down a peg.
Why were you
Oh, God.
constantly knocking your high school friends down a peg?
They needed it.
This one has
Honestly, only the Sams,
don't-
though. The Sams and, like, a couple of the Mats.
There were like 5 Sams,
Valuable thing
like
you've seen in this
6 Jacks, and
Right.
2
And, like,
Mats?
3 or 4 Mats. I
Yeah.
think there were 3.
Read.
Yeah. I don't know. I basically didn't know anyone's name anyway, apart from our friend group, because I showed up,
Okay,
like, late and then
so-
kept my head down from the drama, so I was just like, this is fun.
It's gotta
No, Red, you
And,
showed
like-
up at the starter freshman year along with like the other half
Sure
of the school,
No,
but the problem
it
is
was
the
a-
rest of us all started from like nursery shit.
sure we'll have
So
to-
like on
But
paper,
no,
there's
no.
nothing late
Just-
about joining a
just
high
one
school
minute.
in high school. It's just
Read.
that the rest of our school was so bonkers on starting from age 0 that it was like this
Well-
weird cult by the time you showed up.
Yes, but first of all, it was only 20 new people with like a starting class of 100. So there was like not many of us, and we kind of got distributed among the cliques pretty evenly. And second, no one gave me the intro tour. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, welcome to the friend group. And then 2 years later, it'd be like, oh,
Recognize the
I've got
shape?
this like long-standing rivalry with Jessica ever since 4th grade. Didn't you know this? And I'm like, how the fuck would I know that? I've just been doing my homework and hanging out with you guys.
See, that's the one thing we got right in college. We, like, adopted new people into our friend group, and we're like, here, we're gonna tell you all the drama that's gone down in the last 2 years. Here's everyone who's dated everyone and why they hate each other. And people are like,
That's the thing.
wow, this is a
Avery,
lot, seeing as I know
he's
none of these
screwing with
people.
us.
It was specifically
This was
like
supposed to
over
be
the
it, so
summer,
where's the
like when there
goddamn
was a
freshman,
freshman, or in some rare cases
Kings
a
Bay,
sophomore.
great,
It was
what's
like the
next?
summer before their sophomore year. It's
Pole?
like, okay,
Outer
now that
space?
you are in the fencing club, you will know everything now. And it's like, here's a bottle of whatever you'd like. We're just gonna dish for 2 straight hours.
Well, I had the same thing when I first joined. When I had
Yeah.
pretty much one of my first
was
college
recruiting.
experitions was I went to this like
Avery was
like
recruiting.
welcome event,
Recruiting
and
for what?
the first I kept hearing seniors, and all I hear is about how Bobby was dating this girl, but now he's becoming a priest. So I guess
You
Bobby's
gentlemen
not
are
dating this
very,
girl
very
anymore. I'm like,
organized.
wow. I still to
Guns
this
on
day
the
have
floor.
only met Bobby once.
Slowly.
This is 6 years.
Wow.
But I
So
know
what happened last time?
the summer that Bobby decided to
Sorry,
become
not
a
a window,
priest and
didn't
break
do
up
it
with
for
his
you?
girlfriend. He's now a priest, so like,
Rafe.
good on Bobby. But still.
Rafe, come in.
I'm at the graveyard.
Yeah, in our case, I had the additional difficulty
looking
of
at them
being
right now.
wildly oblivious to relationship drama.
Where-
Come back to
For
the
reasons
cathedral.
that became clear later
Follow the
on, where I was
house.
just like, oh yeah, this just
I'm on
doesn't
my
make
way.
any sense to me. But at the time, it would be
For
like
God's
these
sake,
people would be
don't
like,
shoot
oh
him yet.
yeah, well you know,
Not want to hurry then.
she dated one of the Sams, but then like they broke up, but then they kind of didn't break up, but they're kind of like waiting for each
Kings
other, but
Bay.
they don't really want. And I was like, cool, which wait, who?
Yeah, but,
And why? And then there was this
Where
one
Kings
time,
Bay?
oh, I feel really shitty about this, because like one of my friends was like dating one of
We
my
got
other friends, and I
crossover
didn't
figured out,
notice for like
but
3 months. And I was like,
only
oh,
2
okay,
people
whoops.
that
And
can
then
tell
I
you
like
how
tried
to
to
use
kind of
it.
wildly overcompensate, and I was
guess.
like, so how you guys doing? And they're like, we've been broken up for 2
I'll
weeks.
leave
And
it
I
to
was like,
Rafe,
what
she's
the
been waiting
fuck?
a long time.
When did this happen?
Sorry, boys.
So Yeah, after a while I was just like, all right, I'm gonna have a don't ask, don't tell policy for everyone else's dating
It's not a
life. I'm just
crucifix.
gonna assume it's happening and I don't know what's going on.
Crucifix
It's a
refers
good
to-
assumption to make, especially
Frosted.
like as you get into
You know what?
adulthood, and then you're
Never
like,
mind.
you start seeing pictures of your friend and a picture with another person. You're like, are they
Okay, so our donations have just gone up rapidly because I put in 500, and then I noticed that right after this, the donation from Dried Fruit was the true one piece, $450.69. I'm so sorry that is not going to be the top donation any longer.
That's it, we can end the manga, everybody. We found the One Piece.
I said come on!
dried fruit?
Oh shit, okay, no, this is scripted gameplay. There we go. Now someone needs to donate with $694.20, and then
On dried fruit.
I'm okay!
Which dried fruit? Fruits are pretty good. I don't know. I feel like dried fruits are
Guys, wait. Time out. The game is way too loud here.
oh shit.
Chat.
Really? Because I
Because
just
they can't hear
shit really didn't seem loud.
All right, I'll turn it down.
Listen,
Alright.
I'm just saying what chat is screaming at me in caps lock, and I don't want them missing out on this great dried fruit discussion.
Alright.
Okay, I guess, you know, I was right. Now that there are explosions everywhere, it's gonna be pretty fucking loud. So hopefully that's a little better.
But yeah, so let's see. Dried fruits that are good, in my personal opinion, which is clearly the correct opinion because I speak for all people.
Cyan, as someone who speaks for all women, what do you think of dried fruit?
Cranberries, good. Grapes, bad. Apricots can be good, can be bad, depends on how old they are. Because once they get all dried out, they're not good, but when they're like a little bit dried, good. Pineapple, not really a big fan. Not a big fan of the dried pineapple. Regular pineapple is good. I've never seen a dried pear, but that sounds like an abomination to God.
God.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Ah,
Hey.
sorry, I'll just drop. I'm done. Okay.
Yeah, just die. Just leave. Apples and bananas, don't have a ton of opinions on. Don't really eat those. May or may not be allergic. Remains to be seen. Same with kiwis. So basically, I like the dried fruits that I'm not allergic to and also are not grapes or pears.
Huh.
Cool. All right. This has been Science Speaks for All Women.
People are like, apple crisps? I'm like, sure, enjoy your apple crisps. I'm not gonna die for
Ha.
that, thank you. However, I do eat like normal apples all the time, so I guess I have double standards.
That's the thing. It's all about the juice component. If the fruit doesn't have the juice, it's a completely different animal. And it's like, apples are great. Dried apples,
Oh, I died. Oh,
grapes are
oh my
fantastic.
God, I just got,
Dried grapes?
just got battered.
So since we can't hear the game audio because otherwise it would echo tremendously bad, whenever I see, oh Christ, Nathan, I understand that he's probably like, oh Christ, Nathan! I always just read it as, ah, Christ, Nathan, again!
It's like the fifth
Well, I mean-
time that Drake and Nate has died.
That's always how I interpreted it. Like, Nathan falls off a cliff, and I see the subs going like, ah, Nathan, no! She's like, yep, there he goes.
Reasons
So it's
I
like,
don't
ah,
know.
Jesus, Nate.
I love reading the chat's responses to my opinions, but like, why would you dry a watermelon? Why?
Oh,
What is
what
left?
even is a dried watermelon?
What is left when you dry a watermelon? It's just a melon? Like,
It's just like a I don't know, like a film, a biofilm.
yep.
It's the kind of thing you'd scrape off a swamp.
Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking about fruit opinions while Blue's having a shootout.
No.
I don't know if any of you guys watch the Food Network or own a television, because I don't do either of those things, but I do occasionally watch the videos they put out on YouTube. And Alton Brown, who is verifiably a good cook and a culinary genius, put one of the best things he's ever made was a grape pie. I
man.
hate the idea of it, but if anyone has had grape pie and has opinions, please sound off in the comments, because I'm not making it.
No, that sounds ugh. I respect Alton Brown a lot. I don't think I could ever
It's
trust
like when
again if
artists
somebody
are
was
like,
like,
I've
"This
been
pie is
doing
great."
work that's too good. You know, Picasso's like, I've been painting normally for like 40 years. Let's do some bullshit now.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. When I was a lot younger, I watched Good Eats, which was like Alton Brown's just
So
like,
yeah, it was great.
yeah, super wholesome cooking show. And now he's running like Iron Chef, and it's just, I don't know. I've seen him used in like Die a Hero or Live Long Enough to See Yourself Become the Villain memes, and
He did
like, I don't know what happens.
he started
I don't know what
doing
happens in
some
modern Iron Chef, but
Good Eats
Oh,
Reloaded,
sorry.
where he goes and revisits old Good Eats episodes and calls himself out for being dumb and or pretentious. It's hysterical.
What?
It's really funny. Yeah, he's been posting them on his YouTube channel.
he has it on YouTube.
Well, he's on the Food Network YouTube channel.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Because every cable network now has a YouTube channel to try to get at the kiddos. And by kiddos, I mean people who just don't own a television, of which I am one
Yeah.
of them. Actually,
Oh, excuse me, sir.
we do own a television, we just
I'll
don't
be
have
right
cable.
with you. Please stay on the line and you'll be shot in the order in which you arrived.
Someone keeps saying raisins and quinoa are amazing. I see you. I'm not putting raisins in my quinoa. I don't own quinoa right now.
Alright, before we just get on a tangent of cursed food pairings, let's just stop.
Okay, now what's your most cursed food pairing?
No!
Pineapple pie is surprisingly good.
I'd believe it, but
Okay, speaking of cursed things that aren't food, for the next upcoming video, I had to make a visual graphic of a weeb-o-meter. And it is genuinely one of the most disgusting things I've ever made, and I could not be more proud of it. Oh god.
Sorry, I'm also doing
the
work
game
in the
audio
background.
cannot possibly be changing as much as you guys are saying it.
I think people just need to adjust their volume.
Yeah.
If it's so loud,
It's like-
just turn the volume down, friends. We're
like,
doing
guys-
our best.
Yeah, here's a pro tip. If the whole video seems either too loud or too quiet, perhaps you should adjust your computer volume.
Red, blue, and cyan insult their audience for 20 minutes straight.
Listen, at this rate, I'm gonna turn my gain to max, get right up on the mic, and just start making growling noises if people don't stop complaining about the game audio!
Oh, I shot that man in the dick.
People want to know more about the Weebo-meter.
So the Weebo-meter is, I wrote a sentence and then realized I need to just call attention to the fact that I said what I said, which is the phrase, on paper there is nothing cooler than Samurai War, which needed the Weebo-meter just to recognize how much of a weeby fucking thing to say that is. So I have a visual note in my script is visual gag Weebo-meter spiking, and then later on I say samurai are useless, so the Weebo-meter drops, because that is a non-weeby thing to say. So I truly have all sides covered. The next video that I'm working on is a video on the Meiji Restoration, which is Japan being like, oh, America's gonna stomp our shit if we don't get modern. Fuck, okay, let's go. And just that whole century of 1853 to 1945, when Japan was forcibly dis-empired. It's a fun time, and it's a good historical example of, like, how a country can go really, really far in a not very long period of time just by being smart and doing things right. And then also a cautionary tale of how empire can get way the hell out of hand. I think it'll be good.
We're already at 1,500.
Heck.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, the people who were complaining about the game audio have specified that everything else is really quiet, but the gunfire is really loud.
Well,
let's
yeah,
see if
that's
we
on
can-
I have
the
some
game,
terrible
my
news.
friends.
Let's see what we can do. Okay, volumes.
Yeah. But I have some
effects.
terrible
Yeah, just
news
turn
for
it
you
next
all
to-
about guns in real life.
And then go back to the regular game audio, turn it back a little bit to
All
where
right.
it was.
So hopefully this balances out to something approximating listenable.
Keep running. Don't stop.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Uh-oh. Sweet! Bap.
Yes. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Oh, she's napping on the bed.
Where's Cleo's
Cleo's
having
napping on the
having a
bed.
snoozle.
Uh,
The heck?
since the last stream, Cleo is now officially adopted if anyone doesn't follow
Woo!
other internet platforms but does somehow show up on two streams. Cleo is officially adopted, and we gave her a little can of food to celebrate, and now she wants all the snacks all the time, constantly. So, you know, she's doing well.
She ate a piece of fish off of your plate yesterday in a
Yes.
brazen act of theft.
As in, I was holding the plate, telling her no. Oh, yeah, you. She woke up to look at us while we started talking about her.
Amazing.
But yeah, I was holding the
Oh, I
plate,
love that.
I looked away, she climbed up, stole the tiniest piece, and then ran. Because she knows she's gonna get in
Beautiful.
trouble for stealing food off of our plates. So when she does it, she grabs it and then just runs out of the room before eating it.
She's smart. She's smart.
She's a very smart
Hi.
cat.
Also, guys, they're saying my audio is lagging a little bit, and it might be because of the video stream, which is showing me the game in roughly slideshow quality. So maybe if we stop the screen share, the Discord call will be a little less janky.
Okay, yeah. On it.
Because as things stand, it's like, oh, Nathan was here, and now he's over there, and it's been 2 seconds with no intermediate motion. How nice. So,
All right.
That's just what Drake the Nake does.
Let's see how that is.
yeah, fingers crossed. Ugh, Discord. Oops, sorry.
Cleopatra would commit tax evasion, you are correct.
All right. I don't hear the game audio. I just feel so much rumble for how much I'm getting shot.
I like how you can get shot to almost dead, duck behind a box, and then be fine.
Yeah, that's cover mechanics.
It's the luck meter, remember?
Yeah.
You're
Ow,
not
heck.
actually getting shot.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're just getting
God,
shot in the luck.
Nathan.
God damn it, Nate.
We gotta get past these guys.
My cat's breath smells like cat food. Well,
Shock.
what were you expecting it to smell like?
I'd be more alarmed if it didn't.
We did have to burrito wrap Cleo yesterday to brush her teeth because, you know, oral hygiene is important even for cats. She dislikes immensely.
Not a fan.
It is a 2-person multi-step process, and we only got 3/4 of her teeth, so be it.
It's better than when we try to clip her nails, and if I try to hold Cleo, she will just bolt. And if Cyan tries to hold Cleo, it makes it difficult because then she has to hold Cleo and clip the nails. So I try to basically stun lock Cleo by giving head and under chin scritches, which for the most part stops her from like processing anything else that's going on in the world.
Yes.
So that's my contribution since she refuses to let me hold her.
Yeah, Cleo likes Blue a lot better and refuses to be held by Blue or let Blue do any other cat care.
She knows I'm a
so-
pushover.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Ha!
She knows that if she like kind of like paws at me, I'm going to still hold on to her, and she's not getting away that easily. Blue is not the case. If she starts to paw at him, he'll like kind of flinch and then she can wiggle out. So she knows what's up. Yeah.
She's identified the weakest link.
Conveniently placed.
Sully's always there with a convenient place to play. I think they repainted the plane, or maybe the first one got destroyed in an earlier game.
That does kind of seem on.
Yeah. Oh no, I just realized that Retro Replay is not going to be doing the definitive playthrough of Uncharted 3 and 4. Aww.
No!
I mean, they might, but it'll just be Nolan, which... for those of you who don't know, Retro Replay is now just Nolan, which, like, still, Nolan North is great, but Troy Baker is going on to other projects.
Wait, I didn't hear about this.
Did you not? Oh, shit. Oh, God. So,
I thought it was due to the incident. Did something else happen?
no, Troy is like, look, you know, Nolan, this is really great, but I want to do something else, and Retro Replay is a lot of time commitment for something that he wasn't really feeling as much he wanted to do anymore, from what I gathered, and a lot of this is you know, like 3 layers of distance and kind of hearsay-ish, but yeah, Retro Replay is now only Nolan North. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, dude. This
Yeah.
isn't how you should have found out about that.
I'm sorry, I thought I told you, clearly I did not, but basically
I mean, a
they,
lot of
they-
stuff
they
has been
split
happening.
up the band so that they would stay friends, which, like, is
Oh, God.
always the thing to do. Like, no business enterprise is worth
Correct
splitting up a
decision.
friendship over.
Still sad.
Yeah, still sad, still sad.
Yeah.
Just think about
Well, we passed $2,000.
Yay!
What would he
Thank
possibly
you,
stand to gain from joining Avery?
to Austin
I think
M.
Avery sent out clauses
Lishka
only
with
to the other
501.
wealthy pirates like himself.
What are your opinions on fruit?
God damn it. Guys,
That would
look,
make the guns
trust me,
go
guys. You all know what the incident is. It's just if we name drop it, the video gets demonetized.
Okay, so where exactly in Madagascar?
The Game Grumps have been calling it the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Avery's time.
I know it well. It's a big place. Anything more specific?
Well, that map chamber completely caved in, so people who survived the caves, the recruits.
I have no idea what's going on in this game. 'Cause
No,
I've actually
yeah.
never played this before.
I got
I'm
like
also,
3/4 of the
working
way
on
through.
PowerPoint,
There's a volcano on this.
trying to do T-tests.
There's a volcano near Kings
Yeah, it's
Bay.
going real well. Super, super.
Oh yeah, this is where we're about to go to Madagascar next. Ah, fun. That's right, because we can just like completely skip across the vertical height of the world to go from Scotland to Madagascar. It's fine. It's fine. We're having
Yeah,
fun.
and that kind of play. Did you forget to call your wife?
No, we've been lying
Forget,
to her this
quote,
entire
unquote.
time.
Oh, she doesn't know you.
Sorry, honey, it just totally slipped my mind to let you know that I was going on a globe-hopping adventure for stealing purposes. Sorry.
Right. Right. Yeah. It grounded us for sure. Had some equipment failure, but no one's hurt or anything.
Maybe you
Oh, gosh.
should not do this. Are you guys safe?
Postponed, actually. Looks like we're gonna need maybe another 10 days or something.
Nate.
Nate.
Your wife is like the best treasure hunter in the world. If you said what you were doing, she'd be so on board.
That's the thing. I don't think he wants her to meet his brother. Meeting the family is
Yeah.
always hard.
Oh yeah, that is,
Sorry,
that is
honey.
the reason. It's because of his dead brother. That's right.
His dead brother, who's no longer dead, but is also still a criminal.
The old Hector Alcazar
Either that
gamble.
or
Listen, I'm sorry.
either that or whenever he calls her up, Sam's in the background with like a hand-drawn sign that says "No girls allowed," and he's just like shaking his head, and Nate's like, "Oh yeah, just out with the boys, boys'
Sam-
night." Anyway,
Sam has hastily constructed a pillow fort that says Fort Awesome, but like the S is backwards and scribbled in crayon.
Oh, she's so suspicious. She knows something's
Oh,
up.
she's hella suspicious.
she's like, "Why am I getting like $5,000 roaming charges? Are you in Madagascar?" And he's like, "What? No. Why would I be in Madagascar? I'm on a boys' night."
I'm in Malaysia, remember? Malaysia.
Nate, I follow your Twitter. I see you tweeted a picture of you in front of a dead volcano with Sully #deadbrother.
Are you and Sully brothers now? Yes.
Who's that third
You know,
guy?
like,
the help?
Brothers in crime.
Photographer.
Yeah.
The driver, he's we just don't know how to get him to leave.
He's the producer. Don't worry about him.
Why does it look like
He's
a more
my son.
rough and tumble version of you?
He's my social media manager. He's here to make sure I don't put my foot in it on Twitter. The glamorous lifestyle of an adventurer.
Nathan Drake forced to return treasure after racist tweets resurfaced.
Hear that.
Oh god.
Oh wait, I remember this part of the game.
Yeah.
I remember it very well. Oh man, are you ready to winch stuff and drive up scree slopes?
Winch Simulator 2016.
With peak passing winch behind back physics. Built a whole engine just.
Well, this was kind of good game design because it's a cookie. Oh no, hold on. After I finish the sentence, because it's good game design because it lets you kind of free roam around and on your own time like splice in exploration with traversal with like gameplay talky stuff mechanics. So as silly as it is, it is good game design because like half of people's favorite part of Uncharted 2 is the part that you're just in like a Nepali village petting yaks on the side of a mountain.
Much to see here.
So this is directly related, I swear. I was talking to my dad about the streams because he likes watching the streams, but he doesn't really like Let's Plays all that much. So like he'll like watch for us talking, but he'll kind of be like, "Oh, the game." And I was trying to explain the appeal of Uncharted to him, and while I was talking through it, I realized what it was, which is that it was basically a Tomb Raider for men.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's absolutely what it
It's
is.
like-
They explained that in a couple design documentaries.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Because it was like I was like, well, it's kind of like Indiana Jones, but no, there was something more like an intermediate. Oh right. Tomb Raider. And now Tomb Raider feels like Uncharted for her, so it's
Yep.
kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
Does anyone? Okay, no, real talk. Does anyone like the newer Tomb Raiders, where it's like Lara's a lot less spunky and a lot more? Oh, I'm constantly injured and dying and getting mangled, fucked up by deer.
I haven't played the new ones, so.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
don't
I watched through I think like a full cutscene movie at one point, and I was like, this. I mean, wasn't half the fun that she was like super confident and badass? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
I watched
part of the version of the new storytellers grounding her character was women aren't really confident, so we're just gonna have to tone that down. Something along those lines. I think I said this on the last stream, but there's part of one of the Uncharted or the Tomb Raider games where you're in like some old Byzantine cistern, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we left that, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna watch the rest of this. One of the Greens had picked it up. One of my many former roommates, and I was watching it, and then even that after that, like he was kind of also like, you know, I'm not feeling this. I got it for free, and I still don't really like it that much.
oh god.
Xbox games with gold, it's a good good value.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Tomb Raider.
Where did you just find this truck anyway?
Oh, they bought it. They have this whole conversation about why the rental was so prohibitively expensive.
Oh, I don't know. I was getting a cookie.
Oh, I don't think it happened yet, but it happens at some point in the process of this gameplay section. Yeah, heck.
How many greens are there? I don't know.
There's okay.
Everyone new is green. No.
There's
at least what 5 greens?
There was the one green who wasn't one of my former roommates, who we just named Green very early in the channel, when we played one video. And then there is, let's see, there was my first roommate of 3 years, who I don't think was ever name dropped as having a color, but for our purposes, he's a green.
And then you have your next roommate, who is
next
green.
Roommate, and then 2 other greens
From this year.
And then roommate number 2, green number 3.
Has a brother.
Yeah, his brother
is orange.
Who just decided that he was orange. Is like, yeah, no, you're orange. Yeah, no, live your truth. So there are 5 greens and orange.
Okay, chat, fun fact, if you spam just read or just read the comments, I don't know what comments you want me to read! Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
I know,
Got
I
a
saw
little
that
heated.
too. I'm like, what do you guys want?
Maybe they want just red. Get that enough in my video comments.
Blue, please take some driving lessons. Okay.
There's a difference between video game driving and real driving. I'm a very good driver in real life. I'm a menace in Grand Theft Auto. I run into everything.
I learned to drive in the region between Philadelphia and Connecticut. So, between the 2 of us, Blue is probably the safer driver, but I'll get you there faster. You'll be alive.
Okay,
You'll be fine.
So when I got my license, or when I got my learner's permit, my parents were like, "Oh yeah, you know, we can kind of show you how to tool around in the car." And I have this aunt who is this incredibly like classic soccer mom jock type, and she was like, "Both of your parents are really nervous drivers. Come out to my city and I'll show you how a real woman drives." And I was like, okay. And I got a week-long crash course in just highway driving at night. Like, oh, it was terrifying, but I definitely came out of it a pretty good driver.
Oh yeah, I mean, my first driving lesson, because I got my permit pretty much as young as you could in my state, which meant I had to take driver's ed, like where you have to go with the driving instructor.
Right.
And so the first thing they did was he drove to like the major roadway in town, which is like a light highway. It's divided, but like it's not like a real highway. Clearly someone's done this before.
Yeah.
But So he pulls over to the side of the road and is like, all right, on you, go. Day one. I'm just like, okay. He's like,
Help.
he's like, all right.
Oh, real quick.
It's gonna roll backwards when you start driving. Just be prepared for it.
Oh God.
Well, because I
real
learned
quick,
to drive a stick. So.
Feeding America popped into the chat and asked if they can be orange 2 or green 6.
Ooh.
Feeding America is officially orange too. Because their logo is it's mostly orange. It's kind of like an orange amber color, but I'm not gonna split hairs.
I like people being like, what? Feeding America is here? Is she from New York? You might never know, but it's somewhere between Philadelphia and Connecticut.
Comfortably mid-Atlantic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God. I'm trying to remember. I think like day 2 of when I was learning to drive, we were just kind of tooling around in suburban streets, and she was like, all right, take this left. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, all right, now you're going to want to accelerate to 80 because we're about to go on the highway. And I was like, what the fuck? What? So that was my first experience with highway driving. And then by the end of the week, she was like, yeah, you know, you need to get in some night driving. And also it's good to get in some bad weather driving. And it's raining tonight and we have to go drop off your cousin. So here, do you want to drive the 2 hours? And I was like, yes, I will definitely drive the 2 hours in the rain at night.
Red, I remember you texting me like daily updates on the nonsense that your aunt was getting you into.
Red, you haven't truly driven until you've been surrounded by 18-wheelers in downpour rain so you can't see going across the George Washington Bridge at 11 p.m.
Well, I've never done the George Washington Bridge part, but I've done most of the other stuff. Honestly, though, it was really good because I got really good at, like, in-rain driving. And then the second time I took my driver's test, because I failed the first time, it was raining, and there were a couple other it was raining and an ambulance pulled up, like, randomly halfway through, and I pulled over because I'd just kind of been doing so much. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Miss Driving Instructor. I know I was supposed to make a right, but I just had to pull over for that ambulance. She was like, don't worry. If you hadn't, I would have failed you instantly. So I think that and, like, my experience with that exact kind of driving really helped sell me on that second driver's test. Like, oh yeah, oh no, it happens to be my exact area of expertise and a time when you're inclined to be nicer to me because the weather's not.
Perfect confluence of factors. But Feeding America, if you're still in the chat, thank you to the entirety of Feeding America, because every employee is watching right now.
All of you.
All of them. They are
all for the hard
legion.
work you do. I hope that our fundraising efforts are able to assist you guys in getting food to the people who need it most. When people are out of work for a while now, and schools are closed. A lot of states have been trying to keep up on like school lunches and breakfast, which is where a lot of kids get 2 or 3 of their main meals a day. That's a lot to just suddenly have to pick up the slack for. So you're doing good work. It's been tough to buy materials for a food bank because a lot of the grocery stores that would usually sell their stock that's on the shelf and still has like a couple days left, but might be past the sell-by date. A lot of that's gotten bought up because people are panic buying, like dumb people. Only buy what you need. I assure you, the 20th roll of toilet paper will not be instrumental in your survival. But it's been harder for food banks to get the resources they need because panic buying has been so rampant. So donating even a little bit of money will go a long way, because basically $1 can provide essentially 10 meals for families all across the country who need it. So if you can, your effort and your generosity will go a long way. And let's shoot some guys.
Woo!
Yeah.
Also, someone in the comments said, "Can I be Indigo?" Do you not know there's already an Indigo?
There can be
Indigo
only one.
Is the editor.
Indigo edits my videos.
She's lovely.
Someone on the OSP TV Tropes wiki claimed that Cyan was in fact. I'll do that again more stealthy. Claimed that Cyan was the editor. I went in and edited it and said, "Oh, Cyan doesn't edit. Indigo edits." And then they changed it back. So I went in again and I'm like, trust me, Cyan doesn't edit, signed Blue. And then I think it's
like, what does this Joker know? Yeah.
I accidentally shot.
You would lose a Blue lookalike contest.
I would. Real Blue's hair is poofier.
Yeah,
Real Blue has better posture.
Real Blue's hair is poofier because the only haircut you've gotten recently is my best effort. Which I cut my own hair, which is fine. I have curly hair and it's fairly easy to cut. I've never cut Blue's hair before recently, so this has been a fun experiment. It actually doesn't look too bad, in my personal opinion.
Imagine cutting your hair. Anyway.
I only cut the ends.
This post was made by Red Gang.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to cut the ends because otherwise I can't actually brush it, and then it just turns into a giant mess.
I got it.
It's too curly. If the ends get dead, they get like stuck together, and I can't get a brush through it.
Yeah, in my case, it's like, there's probably some split ends in there, but it's like, my hair kind of straightens itself under its own weight. Like the ends are kind of noticeably curlier than the base.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, this quarantine has completely not changed my hairstyle because it's like, oh no, now I can't get my septannual haircut.
Yeah.
What a tragedy. I'll be magenta. There's already a magenta too. Fun fact.
Step off, man.
You can't just pick a color and be it. Other colors already exist.
So okay, let's do the OSP deep lore. Red, blue, cyan, magenta, indigo, the greens, orange, and orange 2, which is feeding America.
One of the greens can also sometimes be brown. But we don't really do that.
No.
No. We didn't do that. And yellow, our good buddy.
Yellow exists. And you can't just pick your own color. Sorry, you don't get to a pick. If you need a color, one will be assigned to you.
Assigned red at birth. Yes, for your unlicensed OSP sonas.
Blorange.
Blorange. Oh heck. I'm just gonna snap this man's neck casually.
I like how someone was like, Red, have you ever tried a shorter haircut? Because clearly you were born with all of that hair.
Well, okay. I got a haircut in 1st grade because I'd heard so much about them and I thought they sounded exciting. And I got like the first haircut they presented to me, which was like a bob.
Wait,
like
no, that same thing happened to me in 1st grade.
Yeah. Because I was like, I'd never gotten a haircut. Why the fuck would I have gotten a haircut? But then, like, everyone I knew at school got haircuts, and I thought it sounded cool. So I was like, I want a haircut. And then I cut it up to my shoulders, and I was like, cool, let's not do that again. And I think the only other time I got a haircut was in, like, 7th grade. And then I just grew that out because that haircut, that I don't want to get sad, but in 7th grade, I had some, like, bullying problems. And one of the things that people got on me for was actually that my hair was long. And after a while, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. And I just got it like cut up to my mid-back. So it still was clearly very long, but not like past my butt anymore. And then I was like, no, you know what? Fuck that. So I've just been growing it out ever since. Because, you know, live your...
Yeah, I got my hair cut really short when I was 6 in 1st grade because they were supposed to cut it about where my shoulders were. And they just screwed up and cut it really, really short. But the problem is, between the time I was 6 and the time I was in, like, 7th grade, I would grow about the same speed that my hair was growing. So it took until, like, probably, like, 7th grade for it to get back down to past my shoulders. So I've pretty much just been growing it out since. But it was just, like, really frustrating because I was, like, my hair was clearly growing, but it wasn't looking any longer, so it's just like picture after picture where it looks like I must have been trying to keep my hair in the same length, but in actuality I was trying to grow it out as fast as possible.
Oh, yeah. My hair kind of has like a rough maximum length. This is actually very common. And when I was shorter, it was like past my butt. But now that I'm taller, it's just like at my butt.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, it's weird.
We're almost to waist length now. Almost. But the problem is, as my hair gets longer, it also gets curlier. So, because like when it's shorter, it's actually fairly straight. But as it gets longer, it starts to curl more and more. So like, as it grows, it will grow like 2 inches, but only be like an inch longer. And like, thank you, hair. Much obliged. Oh. Red's hair is Disney princess quality. You are correct.
Yep, this is accurate.
Aw, thank you, guys.
Someone's like, beige? What a boring color. Sorry. If your favorite color is beige, all power to you.
Your favorite color can be beige. That does not make it OSP canon.
My OSP Sona is beige. He's an accountant from Omaha, Nebraska.
Your finance guy should be beige. No, he's too cool for that. I like your finance guy.
Yeah, he's way too cool. He's the coolest. Okay.
Oh my god, what was that email exchange that we had, Red, when you were like, something plague, and he was like, what, there's no plague, our president said so. I was like, oh!
Yeah, we were talking about, like, my taxes or something, because, like, they've pushed back the federal tax to, like, you know, July or whatever, but the state tax isn't necessarily delayed, so I was like, do I have to pay taxes yet? And he was like, no, and then he, like, 2 days later, he was like, yeah. And we were talking about this, and I was like, oh man, okay, well, sorry, you know, plague's got me a bit on edge. And he responded with, like, what plague? Our glorious leader says there is no such thing. And I was like, oh my god! Tax guy mad! So... yeah, man, when everyone's working from home, there's fucking no limits.
Now everyone's just saying my OSP Sona is. I want to know what color is Cosmic Latte.
Oh yeah, Cosmic Latte. Wait, do you guys know about this?
No.
They found the average color of the universe, basically. They averaged it, and it's basically a pale beige. And they were you know, coming up with different names for it, but they went with Cosmic Latte, because it kind of looks like milk.
Now I kind of want to go make coffee, though, which is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a good thing the British Empire never found out that the average color of the universe was pale beige. Jesus Christ, we never would have heard the end of it. Ugh. More British Empire content coming soon. Can you tell? Oh, jeez. I get some good Imperial snark in my Meiji Restoration episode, too, don't worry. Oh, Red, you want to talk about that picture I found?
Oh, wait, which picture?
The
Japan
so makes her debut under Columbia's
auspices. Oh, God!
Good Lord.
Yes!
Good stream content.
Okay,
right
everybody, tab away from what's going on right now. Google Japan makes her debut under Columbia's auspices. It's a political cartoon from the late 1800s drawn by an American. Basically, the premise is America, in her glory and generosity, has brought Japan into the modern world. It's a, like, personified caricature of everybody. So, like, America as, like, a hot blonde lady presents Japan as this, like, super, like, uptight, doesn't know how to make expressions, you know, like, super short Japanese character persona is being introduced to, like, Lady Minerva of, like, Britain, the way that every British person sees themselves in, like, full imperial regalia. And there's all the other, like, European empires of the world, like, getting ready to meet.
the other side of the bridge and pull it down.
Oh, yeah. And all these other people are getting ready to meet Japan, and it's like, this is such a generous interpretation of bullying a country into becoming modern or perishing. It's... the more you look at the picture, the more fucked up it gets. Oh man, Red and I were going on about this for like an hour the other day.
Again, clearly someone has done this before.
Yeah.
Like
the more you look at that, the game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the game. So he's wrapping the grappling hook again, and I just love because it wants you to wrap the grappling hook. It shows you these like clearly worn down areas, like people are regularly pulling this bridge to the ground.
Yep. But yeah, that fucking picture, it's so interesting.
I'll fix that.
Because it was kind of a thing for these European countries and nations to like represent themselves in kind of this like goddessy thing.
Yeah.
Rome did it first with like, oh god, I don't remember what they call. What am I hearing?
Hold on.
We're gonna have to probably reconnect the Discord chat. Oh no, it says we're still in the chat.
Red, can you hear us? Let's...
Yeah, it's still showing. I can disconnect or reconnect.
Yeah, I want to hang up and try again.
Hello?
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, cool. We might be live again.
Are we? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you're good. Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Sorry, everybody. Laptop died. We were hunting for the charger, and then
it was right next to the laptop where it belongs.
We got a thing like, oh, battery low. It's like, oh, okay, I bet it has like 10% left. No, it had 30 seconds.
Oh my god.
Right.
Wow.
I think we're good. I'm just gonna wait until the stream on my window here catches up.
Yeah. They're like yelling that we're back. So that's
the best part is this laptop that we're streaming off of actually has 2 batteries.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it doesn't tell you the battery is low until the second battery is at less than 5%.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I was in the middle of shit talking that when everything went down, and I didn't realize. Oh wait. Oh no. Can you guys still?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Good. Sorry, the stream showed buffering again, and I was like, no, it's happening again.
Oh god.
I don't.
I don't see the.
Oh, I see the problem.
What's the problem? Okay, hold on.
The Discord audio thing is all the way down.
Oh well, no, I don't know about that. It's just that the preview isn't showing this like moving at all.
Oh heck.
Yeah.
Try turning off and on the OBS.
So there.
Okay.
Stream key's the same. Should start back up.
Are we live? It doesn't.
We're live, but the screen is still frozen.
Yeah, screen's frozen. Okay, I'm going to.
Wait, give it a second. Remember, there's still.
Yeah. See if this does anything. Can you guys hear us?
Yes, they can hear us. A friend of mine is in the stream and she's texting me.
Heck.
Yikes.
Okay, while you guys get this sorted out, how about I talk more about why that piece of art is fucking hilarious?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, so I have no idea where we cut off, so I'll basically start at the beginning. Basically, there was this thing where these empires and nations would like personify themselves as like
video
god.
capture device and bring it back up because it's frozen on this one too.
Okay.
So basically, they would like there was like a goddess that was Rome personified, for instance, because Rome absolutely loved embodying concepts as gods, like way more than Greece ever did. It was one of those interesting properties that they kind of overwrote when they decided the Greek pantheon was really cool and like syncretized themselves a bit. That like you lost all these like tiny Rome mini gods of just like absolutely fascinating concepts and stuff.
All right, we're back.
Alrighty then.
Okay, Red, continue.
Okay, so, right, Lady Rome, and then obviously Britain as the definitely accurate spiritual successor to Rome, kind of did the same thing. Like, Lady Britannia was like this Valkyrie-like woman in like Minerva's armor, representing Britain as
like,
this
not gonna
awesome,
lie,
cool lady.
straight styling, but.
Oh no, she looks fantastic. She's got like the long, amazing goddess hair and like the flowing robes and she looks great. And it's very clearly how Britain really wanted the rest of the world to see them. And boy howdy did it not work. But, you know, America kind of got it from them.
Hotter take has never been said.
Oh, come on. Dunking on Britain is old news by now.
No, but that was a particular spicy way to go about it.
Well, thank you.
Anyway, continue.
So, right, so basically there was this kind of like, just this artistic style of personifying these nations as, you know, goddesses. So America got one, and like Germany got one, and sometimes Spain got one, or France, and basically they would all kind of be built on the same model of like, large, statuesque woman with beautiful long hair and some kind of helmet, and usually the flag of the nation worked into their outfit somehow, and armor and maybe weapons, and like basically all just kind of built on this model of Athena, or rather the Roman version, or rather the Britain version. Basically, like, you can kind of tell the art change. Like, Athena is always represented with like her hair up in like a fairly practical braid hairstyle and like under the helmet and wearing the armor. And then Rome was a little less cool with the war goddess idea, so they kind of tried to pull it back. Oh, maybe she's about tactics, maybe she's just about wisdom, but it's like, no, she was a fucking war goddess. One of her most famous epithets, Promachos, is she who fights on the front lines. It was not, like, she was not the tactician, she was actually out there fighting, but that's not the point.
Her
Rome was kind of
was
like...
go fight.
Yeah, strategy was hit them really hard with my spear. But yeah, so Rome kind of pulled back on that, and then Britain was kind of like, oh, you know, we love this Victorian kind of like, oh, she's like powerful and cool, and her hair is all long and loose. So they kept like the style of ancient Rome and the armor from ancient Greece, but they had like the long loose hair, and that was just kind of this thing. And I'm giving you all this context because they didn't have any of the context for how you would represent something correspondingly for Japan. So in this image, you have all of these European nation states represented as these like voluptuous goddesses in armor and like weapons and togas and shit. And then there's a fairly average-looking, slightly pudgy, middle-aged Japanese woman done up in a fairly archaic style. She's like 4 feet tall. She's being handheld by the representation of, was that America? I
Yeah,
think?
Colombia. You can tell by the red and white flag stripes.
Right, yeah. And just introduced to this like menagerie of beautiful, powerful goddesses, and then there's like a little China up in the upper left corner peeking over the wall jealously. And it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's bad.
And
fun fact about one of the characters is that Germany on the far left, brand new German Empire, is sitting and is still taller in frame than Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. It appears that our buddy Adam has linked. Yes, thank you. He's linked to the image in the chat. So if anyone really wants the photo reference to go along with what we're saying,
Awesome.
hit that link.
If I was more on the ball, I would try to like frame. Oh, we are hold on. Our
Oh no.
counter is not up. There we
Oh,
go. It's
no.
back. It's back. It's fine. If
Okay,
I was more
good,
on the
good.
ball, I would put an image like just in the frame. Oh, I'm on Assassin's Creed controls. That's the wrong button.
Oh god.
I put a picture in screen, but I'm not that good with OBS. So bear with me. But yeah, no, click the link. It's a fucking trip of a picture.
And the interesting thing is, like, just looking at it from an artistic perspective, you can really see that they did not know what to do with Japan. Because, like, all these other things, they have, they have the cultural context to create this artistic representation of a nation that gets across, like, oh, well, it's Germany. She's blonde. She's like, she's got the eagle regalia. She's got, this big helmet. And then over there, that's like Spain. She's got darker hair. And it's like, okay, cool. And then with Japan, they're like, fuck, man, we don't know. We've seen like 4 Japanese people. Let's just draw one of them. So, if you were doing this with a slightly more like equal footing, I mean, there's tons of Japanese representations of like major goddesses and stuff. And one interesting thing is, like, Amaterasu, for instance, usually has her hair down in them. So just like that little touch of like, well, she doesn't need to be all done up in this like just fairly average normal outfit. She could be wearing this kind of robe and she could have her hair in this kind of style, and maybe you could draw her face in any other way. But, it's the difference between having intimate knowledge of a culture and having external, superficial knowledge of a culture. I mean, and just, oh man, I can talk about this one stupid
Even
picture.
still, there's, the very conscious decision to not give Japan any flag iconography in that picture. Almost every other foreground country has a flag. France is like all dolled up with cockades and the fleur-de-lis. Germany has their flag. Britain has their flag. America has their flag. The Rising Sun flag is like emblematic and iconic as fuck, but Japan isn't allowed to wear it because they're not on like flag waving status compared to all these other like hotshot, Western powers. So they even like had that and they chose not to give it to them. Not even like accounting for the lack of knowledge about, what their goddesses looked like.
The box is behind you.
The other interesting thing about that also is Japan didn't really do like iconography of our nation personified because, Shintoism and stuff already has plenty of gods, and it's not like, you already have gods of the land of the reeds and stuff. You don't need a god who is that land. But you can look up tons of their art from that era and see how they saw their interactions with Europe and the rest of the world, which was mostly, okay, cool story, like some of your fashions, like some of your tech, can you leave now, please? Like, there's all these beautiful traditional woodcuts of just like, this is a normal Japanese lady, she's wearing a bustle dress because that was the style that was popular when Europe showed up, and then, Europe, their fashions changed pretty quickly, but why would Japan care what Europe's fashions were doing? They were like, oh, cool, nice foreign clothes. We'll take these, and now you can go. We're busy. And it's just, the European images of Japan did not change since their first meeting, basically. Like, they were still drawing people in those same clothes, and Japan did the exact same thing to Europe. Oh, man, I don't know. It's just really funny to me. The wildly different narratives you can get from 2 unreliable narrators, basically.
Yeah.
Sniper.
Yeah,
no
so there's
shit. The
there's a lot
lasers
of-
weren't a clue.
Yeah, there's a lot of really intricate cultural stuff that I absolutely did not have the time to get into in my 10-minute video on an entire century of Japanese history. But let it be known that this is all the kinds of stuff that you can learn if you do more digging beyond, you know, what we'd give you in any, you know, 10-minute Misk Myth or 10-minute history summarized. Oop, let's jump
That's
down
why
from
they're
there.
called summaries.
That's why they're called summaries.
Yep.
So when people are like, oh, you didn't talk about this, it's like, yeah, you know, you're right, we didn't. That's what your research is for. Now you
Well,
have the tools to
okay.
get going. Get going.
That reminds me. I told you this like last night. I've been doing some digging into like Loki and well, I've mentioned that before. But after the last stream where I talked about that, I got an email from someone who was basically like, "Hey, so I did some research into Loki. It was really cool. Here's some
Rocket
interesting."
point blank to the chest. Sorry.
Oh shit. Oh man, must have used up most of your luck on that
Yeah,
one.
it was really unlucky of that to happen to me.
But basically, this person who emailed was like, yeah, you know, there's all this interesting stuff, and I have this theory, and basically, I think they're right, and the theory is that Odin and his role in Ragnarok and Loki's role in Ragnarok is not the way it's normally presented, which is, Loki is like this jerk, and he creates these monsters, and they're dooming the world, and Odin's trying to stop it, and all that jazz. It's just an instance of an extremely common prophecy format in all Indo-European cultures that clearly stem from the same like Proto-Indo-European culture, which is, you guys know this, it's, hey guys, there's a prophecy of doom. Oh no, I'd better do everything in my power to stop this prophecy of doom. Oh, in my hubris in attempting to stop the prophecy, I have caused it to come about. It's that old story, you know. It happened with Perseus. It happened with, fuck, who's the other? It's Oedipus, happened with him.
Yep.
More specifically, Oedipus's dad, but Oedipus kind of got caught in the crossfire. And it happens in non-Greek cultures too. In Celtic mythology, with Balor, king of the Fomor. Okay, I don't want to go too far down this other rabbit hole while I talk about this other rabbit hole, but basically, Balor has a story that is almost identical structurally to the myth of Perseus. Balor prophecy that his grandson is going to destroy him, so he locks up his daughter. But his daughter gets impregnated by a passing god anyway, so he casts his daughter and the child into the sea. And they wash up, or actually in this case, the child gets raised by the god of the ocean, and then he becomes this like adult, this hero. He joins the Tuatha De Danann, he becomes their champion, and then he like leads the army and kills Balor on the battlefield. That child is Lu. He's like a really, really big deal in Celtic mythology. And structurally, that's basically exactly the same thing as the Perseus myth. So basically, this whole, oh, I will attempt to stop this prophecy, oops, I caused it to happen by trying to stop it, that shows up everywhere. And if you look at the structure of Ragnarok, that's what happens. Like, it's not even subtle. It's just that the narrative about it doesn't frame it like that, because Odin is like, I want to avoid this prophecy of doom that I've received from, like, this fortune teller. I really, really want this to not happen. And then he finds out Loki has this, like, secret family he's been raising in Jotunheim. He's had these 3 kids, and he's like, oh, I can't have that. Have those kids brought to me. And so they bring baby Hel and baby Fenrir and baby Jormungandr to Odin. And he's like, oh, gotta get rid of these kids. And he casts Hel into Niflheim, where she becomes ruler of the dead. And he casts Jormungandr into the ocean, where he grows to enormous size. And they don't really know what to do with Fenrir because he's already really strong. So they start trying to, like, trick him. They're like, hey, Fenrir, bet you can't break out of this chain. And he's like, okay. And breaks out of the chain. And then they bind him with this chain made of impossible things, and Fenrir is, like, properly bound. But basically, all of these kids play a role in Ragnarok. Fenrir breaks his chains. Jormungandr kills Thor. Hel doesn't play an explicit role, but the dead does. When Loki comes to Ragnarok, it says Loki marches and all the people of Hel march with him. So basically, Odin actually does create his own doom by fucking with Loki's family, because otherwise they probably just would have been in Jotunheim minding their own business. And it is blowing my mind, because what this does is it reframes Loki completely. He's not like the adversary, the Satan figure. He's not even that much of a jerk. He's basically no more guilty than Perseus's mom was in her own myth, which is, oh god, sorry. I've been talking about this for what feels like hours. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
like
really
a
good
minute, but
stuff.
really
You know, whenever Red goes down a research rabbit hole, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for this to turn into a video, and you know, however long it takes, and when the schedule comes around. But it's always a fun treat for me to hear all this stuff. Not even accounting for, you know, what the 2,000 people in the audience are like. I find this to be a treat, so I'm having fun. But yeah, it's extremely cool.
And like structurally it lines up perfectly, because that's what you all in this prophecy structure, you always lock up the kids. It's always like that this figure, who's usually male, receives this prophecy of like doom, and so they lock they lock up not necessarily the kid, but they lock up the person who's going to give rise to the kid, or they lock up the kid. And in this case, they end up doing both. Like, Loki getting bound after the fighting of Loki and the death of Balder is kind of like the last straw before Ragnarok, because Loki breaking his bonds is what starts Ragnarok, which means Loki getting bound in the first place was kind of the last step in setting up Ragnarok. And it's so interesting because, of course, this all got reframed during the Christianization of Iceland and stuff. Of like, oh yes, well, Loki is very easily reframed as a Satan figure. And then all of these monsters he creates are very easily reframed as like, oh yeah, you know, it causes problems, make demons. And then Odin kind of just slides into the role of, oh, that's a shame. He was the head god and he tried to prevent this thing, but it didn't work. Rather than, oh, he's that asshole who's like, oh no, a prophecy of my doom. Better do everything in my power to stop. Oh god, sorry. Yeah. It's just so cool.
The one thing that doesn't, that I'm not sure that accounts for, is still Loki killing Balder. How does that factor into the over story formula?
Maybe he was just mad.
Or is that just like the one new factor from the Norse telling?
Well, that's the thing. It's interesting. The sources we have don't really dive into like, how did this character feel about that?
Yeah.
You could infer perhaps Loki was a little bit testy, that every time he tries to settle down and start a family, Odin shows up and kicks over his sandcastle and locks up his kids.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Balder is Odin's beloved child, you know, favorite son and all that jazz. You could totally frame it like that, but also, like, structurally, it's not that different from every other Loki myth. I mean, it's worse. He does a worse thing. But, like, every other Loki myth is basically, Loki decides he wants to cause problems on purpose. He cartoonishly faces the consequences for his own actions and has to fix it. Loki causes a problem and then Loki fixes the problem. With Balder's case, the only difference is he doesn't fix the problem. He actually goes out of his way to not fix the problem. When Hel is like, we can get him back if everyone cries, and then Loki doesn't cry, you know, Balder stays dead until he's not anymore. So while it's an objectively worse thing to do than, like, shaving Sif as a prank or, you know, any other thing that he's done, it's not formatted all that differently from his normal... I mean, I'm not saying Loki's, like, a guiltless, innocent figure in this. I mean, he's definitely pulled some shit.
No, but it's more par for the course, you know?
Exactly. Like, killing Balder is kind of worse, but, like, you know, they were like, Balder, he's indestructible. Haha, let's go throw a bunch of weapons at him. And Loki's like, man, wouldn't it be funny if we threw a weapon made of the one thing he's not unkillable by? I think that would be pretty funny. Let's find out. And then he's like, oh, that wasn't all that funny. But you know what is funny? Keeping him dead. And, I mean, you know, not to add characterization where there was none, but you could easily make a case for the fact that Loki seems like he kind of likes the idea of having a family. You know, he goes off, he has kids a lot. I mean, sometimes it's with horses, but sometimes it's like, oh yes, this is Hel, this is Jormungandr, this is Fenrir.
Fucks.
Yeah, Loki fucks. But, you know, beyond that, Loki has kids. He was, like, raising them in Jotunheim. And then Odin's like, hey, the eyes are all agreed that these kids are going to cause us problems later, so we're going to go fuck with them until we guarantee they cause us problems later. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, if you add all that together, you could easily make a case for the idea that Loki is just like, God, I'm so fucking sick of this. Oh, yeah, it's okay if you fuck with my kids, but I can't fuck with your kids. I see how it is. You know, you could write in a justification. I'm not saying that it was already there, and it's always really hard to tell with myths like this. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that the death of Balder is structurally not that different from every other Loki hike. And it being the straw that broke the camel's back totally makes sense, but his behavior being the result of the other side of, you know, straw that broke the camel's back, like, you're constantly fucking with me, you're constantly fucking with my kid, well, you've got this kid you like a lot, you know. You could make a case for it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely buy it.
Yeah.
It's a case of, like, you can't definitively prove, like, oh, this is the way that it is. That's an ambulance. But, you know, it's a justification or it's an explanation that you can justify with analysis and examples, which is just what good research is. You know, you can't really ever prove anything, but you can argue it well and explain why it's likely or plausible that, you know, it becomes a valid explanation. It's just good argument composition.
I don't mean to interrupt our deep dive into mythology here, but what's going on?
So this is more Henry Avery shit. We're trying to find his treasure, and his whole deal was basically the iconography of Saint Dismas, the penitent thief, and they're right now finding the insignia of other famous pirates alongside Henry Avery, pirate captains. So Drake's theory is basically that a bunch of pirates pooled their treasure together and put it.
Let's see, what do you think the trick is here?
The protagonist, Nate. Drath and Nake's theory is that the pirates pooled all of their treasure together somewhere, somehow, and Sma is not super convinced until they find all of this explicit iconography of other pirates right here. I think it was Thomas II, Anne Bonny, and a couple other ones who aren't as cool or interesting. That's unfair. But
I like how Sullivan's just along for the ride. Like, does he have any stake in this besides the fact that he likes Nathan?
He worries about Nate so much. Oh my god, he can't sleep at night knowing the shit that Nate gets up to.
He probably was so happy when he settled down, got a wife.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you can see in his face, and like in the video capture, in some of the scenes where, you know, Sam and Nate are going into Scotland and Sully's at the plane, and he's like, "Well, kid, shit, okay, you know, come back." You can tell the resignation to how like off the deep end Sam makes Drake go. But yeah, so they're just finding out another clue that points towards Nathan's pirate pool theory, and as we'll see later in the game, the pirate pool is an entire pirate city, Libertalia, which we will find out about later.
How do these people keep finding this, the real question?
Game design.
Nate forgot to turn off location services on his phone.
I mean,
he's like live tweeting the whole thing.
Elena sees Nate's Twitter, and so does Shoreline.
Also, real quick, is my audio okay now? Chat was yelling furiously that my audio was cutting out, as if that's something I could do something about.
Your audio's not really cutting out. It's whenever you stop talking, you can hear kind of a definitive cut, because that's what Discord does, is it cuts when it thinks you're not talking.
There was the odd syllable missing, but I mean, I could still understand everything.
Yeah, no, you weren't losing. We weren't losing any words. It was just that you could hear whenever you'd pause in a sentence, and it sounded like it cut out, but I don't think you actually did.
Oh, hey guys.
Weird. Is there like a noticeable background hiss that's absent when it cuts off or something? I can turn on my game.
No, it's that.
So,
Lunar Dissonance. Oh, okay, I got the trophy for killing a bunch of people.
Nice. So a good example is just like right when you were saying gain, sometimes it cuts the like last syllable of a word because Discord thinks it's smart. So it cut the N on gain. I don't think that's something we can fix using the platforms that we're using.
Yeah.
Hold on. All right.
I don't like the Raffica. All right.
Hold on.
All right, and now we go.
According to the chat, either your mic sensitivity is probably too high or too low.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so helpful, chat. Thank you so much. Well, I've turned off echo cancellation and noise reduction to see if that stops Discord from cutting me off mid-sentence.
It seems to.
I'm gonna let you finish.
I'll let you finish, but cut.
What are we doing over here?
I don't know, man. You think I know what's going on?
We're supposed to go on. Oh, we talk.
Oh, someone said that because of Red, she hasn't cut her hair in 3 years, and they're donating 12 plus inches as soon as quarantine ends.
Wow.
Hey!
Really cool. You're an inspiration, Red.
Nice work. Aw, thanks, guys.
God knows how many of them, and they have a head start. Well, a lot less than they did, seeing how many we've killed.
I just got a notification that my dad emailed me at the beginning of the stream. Hey, what's the link to donate? And then, never mind, found it. Whoops. Sorry, Dad.
Drath and Nick,
well, would you
2020, that was me, friends. Not joke.
Gotta watch the whole stream. Otherwise, you missed.
You know
this
what's funny
deep,
about-
fake Nathan Drake lore. Sorry,
I've
Red,
been
go ahead.
seeing misattributed quotes now, like popping up sometimes in our Tumblr tag, because they can't tell if it's me talking or Cyan talking or sometimes Indigo talking, and I'm like, that's not my joke. I think I would remember if I was that funny.
Aw.
Aw.
You are that funny.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd be happy
also,
to
we've hit
donate
2,500.
my jokes. I don't know about Indigo though. Indigo probably wants her jokes back.
Yep. We've hit $2,500 and we've hit 2,000 concurrent viewers.
Yay.
And 666 likes. Very nice.
Nice.
Hey. Also, still thank you to Austin with his 501 donation being the top donation.
Yeah.
Woo woo woo.
So I guess on the subject of quotes being misattributed, not only do both of you speak for all women, but
yes.
some people think that you sound like all women.
Yes.
God
as
damn
all
it.
women. Despite the differences in our range and register.
Yeah. I think like sometimes the mic flattens some of the like harmonics a little bit, because sometimes when I'm watching back, if I'm not paying attention, I'll be like, wait, no, that wasn't me. Because
Or
our
better
comfortable
yet, when
speaking.
you confuse yourself with Link.
That's honestly my favorite thing that I've discovered. But no, it makes Breath of the Wild very confusing. Actually, guys, that reminds me. I have a Switch now, and I've never played Breath of the Wild, but if I get a capture card, we could probably like stream that from the beginning if people would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, then maybe I won't be the only one getting stones flung at me in the comments.
Yeah, they should talk my playstyle.
$500 for a bottle cap?
Huh.
Is this the same conversation, or is it gonna be different?
Give you $50 for it.
$50 for it?
$400, and it's real. How do the buyers interested in that place?
I want to see how far this goes.
Come on, man. 200. Okay, that's all I have on you. I cannot possibly part with it for less than 300. That is my final offer.
Negotiation.
300.
Nay. Really?
Done. You see that?
I was like, wait, why is chat exploding with yeses? Oh, right, Breath of the Wild. Okay.
Found a
It's
treasure.
a good game. It's fun to play, you know?
Wait, let's press
Honestly,
options
yeah.
to inspect it
And- oh,
closer.
I know a lot about it. I've just like straight up never played it before, and we have a copy because I got it from my brother, and then I got myself a Switch, and I'm like, well, shit, we already have it, so. And it would probably be a little more thrilling than, say, if I were streaming like Animal Crossing, which is basically just part of my daily chores right now.
Oh,
It's like,
I'm
it's 12 p.m., gotta go hit a bunch of rocks.
riveting gameplay.
Meanwhile, most of our daily
Honestly,
chores
though, it's-
just involve the cat. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I might have interrupted Red. Sorry, I
Oh, no,
lost
no.
my headphones.
Oh, no, don't worry. It's so soothing to play. Like, everything is kind of on fire because of the incident. But this one's just kind of like, yeah, I'd like to shake trees and you know, collect pears, catch bugs, sell them for money.
I like this little
Grow
shopping
money
interlude
trees.
that you have here.
Yeah, every once in a while, an Uncharted game kind of hits you with just hanging out in a place, just seeing things happen, people talk, making food. It's where the animators are like, oh wait, I can make people not killing each other. Oh, this is great. And they just go nuts on building stuff.
Drathan Nake should probably get a new shirt, seeing as he is covered in mud. And theoretically, also bullet holes.
No, because he's
Yeah.
too lucky to get
Ah,
shot.
right, yes.
Yeah.
Only
it's
unluckier
just the
people
luck.
actually get shot with guns.
Anyway, pretty sure Drathan Nake is self-cleaning, so he's fine.
Self-cleaning, self-healing, Drathan Nake.
Yep.
If he just sits behind a wall, his shirt will just like magically like just get rid of all the dirt on it.
Oh,
He's
people say it's
actually
really
like
fun.
scrubbing it off on the wall like a bear on a tree.
People say it's really fun watching Blue play Hollow Knight, and you should play more Hollow Knight.
Oh, I should
Ooh.
maybe play more Hollow Knight if I want to really test the limits of my my skills. I picked it up again like a couple weeks after we had the Joe Cat stream. Oh my god, I died so much. I got actively a lot worse than I was even before. But yeah, maybe we pick up Hollow Knight again. I assure you, I haven't progressed at all since we last played.
We tried and failed.
Yeah.
Edward England said, just like the map said.
Edward England.
So what are we looking for?
As opposed to
question.
Francis France.
Jesus.
What?
Now, what on earth is the architecture in this church? It's all over the place. Oh, it's okay. Honest guess. probably, since Madagascar was a French colony for a good little while.
That would explain the fleur-de-lis.
That would explain the fleur-de-lis. That would also explain the vaguely neoclassic elements and little gold touches. Obviously, there's only so much you can do when you're not in France. But this has a French colonial church written all over it.
What's Blue's favorite action game? Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which we'll be playing on Friday, going through the Da Vinci's War Machines. That'll be a really good time.
Oh, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I tried playing again, and if anyone saw the other stream where I played Assassin's Creed, it went about the same. Jumping off of buildings, lots of screaming.
We did a Borgia Tower.
Oh yes, I did light a tower on fire.
You learned the intricacies of combat.
Yeah,
you got him. You killed him in the end.
Yeah. I'm bad at using the gun. I am not a gun person. I am a sword person.
No guns. No killing.
No. Yes, killing. Just no guns. Yeah, do it right. Use a knife. No, I'm kidding. Please don't murder people. Not condoning murder.
That excellent Batman quote reminded me. So I watched Batman and Robin the other night.
Oh God.
Genuinely a really good time. Not a good movie, but hilarious. I also did not know until somebody in the comments mentioned that director of this movie, Joel Schumacher, was gay. But I gotta say, didn't really surprise me after seeing how that movie framed its sole female characters and its many male heroes. Because it was like, let's see, okay, yeah, these suits are like basically anatomically correct. And then there's Poison Ivy. We put her in a green bodysuit. It kind of hugs her waist a little bit. And we gave her a double beehive hairdo and the world's fakest looking wig. I don't know. I was like, yeah, this is a director that can really appreciate the male form and kind of struggles to understand the appeal of the female one, I think.
Like some artists that we could talk about.
We had a conversation about Michelangelo the other day. Michelangelo has never seen a woman naked Buonarroti. Those sculptures are just a fantastic explanation of why you need to just, like, study what you're going to be sculpting, just on a cursory level.
Yep. The sheer, like, Michelangelo had clearly literally never seen a naked woman.
Never. Literally
he was like, it's
never in his
basically
life.
like a buff man with 2 potatoes on it, right? Okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Potatoes, which are always just pointing in a direction.
Yep.
They never move at all. No
So
angles.
that tears it, everyone. Joel Schumacher is the Michelangelo of our era. Oh, God. But yeah, it was very stupid, and I had a great time. Also, if they make a live-action Batman Beyond movie, I need it to use this aesthetic. This Gotham was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Just skyscrapers, Colossus statues. I don't think I ever saw the sunrise in that movie. Arkham was like a 500-story Gothic nightmare. There was this random warehouse full of like color-coordinated mooks wearing like UV face paint. I need this city to be real. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm just like really intensely watching you climb gears.
Oh God, I think I remember this.
Yeah, this is where the entire tower collapses later.
Yeah, dude.
Spoilers. I dated a Leo
It's like,
once.
oh, is that the character who dies later? Dude!
I mean, oh my God, it's a set piece in an Uncharted game. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen?
Well, obviously it's gonna collapse, but you don't need to tell people yet.
Okay, fine.
I like that the conversation that the developers decided needed to go in this specific area was, I dated a Leo once.
Did I do this right? Oh, Scorpio first. Ugh. Oh my God.
So I have been researching the Zodiac because we got a video request for way down the line about that. It's kind of bonkers, actually. And I don't want to get all into like the astrology side of things, but just like the constellations. The 12 constellations in the Zodiac are largely unchanged since the first records we have of those constellations from fucking Babylon. Like, some of the only stuff we have from them are just these like clay tablets with star charts written in them, and lists of constellations. And they've been reshuffled around a bit. Like there were about 17 or 18 of them in one of the earliest records we have, and some of them got consolidated into like the later 12. but a lot of them are exactly the fucking same. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever wondered why Capricorn is a goddamn mergoat. It's because that was a thing in Mesopotamia. They were like, mergoats are cool, let's make a constellation. And then, like, Greece got their hands on those constellations, and they didn't change any of them, but they rewrote all the stories to make sense for them. Like, Aquarius, the water bearer. In Babylon, that was Ea, god of water, and Sirius, big deal. And then Greece was like, the water's probably the most important part of this. We'll just keep the vase and ignore the guy part. And then, what was the other one? Pisces has the craziest fucking story because Pisces is just like these two fish connected by a rope, and if you look up why they are, you'll get like 4 different stories, but they're all about Aphrodite for some reason, or Venus, and a couple of them have Typhon, actually. Basically, when Typhon attacked, Aphrodite and Eros turned into fish and like escaped, or they escaped on the backs of 2 fish, or 2 fish found an egg in the ocean and rolled it up onto the surface and it hatched into Aphrodite. It's all weird, but why is it Aphrodite? Because that constellation was fucking Ishtar! I swear to God, this rabbit hole never ends! And the one next to it is Ares, and that was originally Tammuz, Ishtar's boyfriend. And then it was like Tammuz's goat, just a goat. It's just a goat now. Oh God, I don't know, man. I'm trying really hard not to get dragged down into the conspiracies, but they're actually there, so it's really hard.
Sorry.
Is it the lion?
Where the heck? Where?
It was the first one you did.
Oh, do I need to go down? Oh shit. Where? Oh, it's down there.
Yeah.
Ah. Yep.
Oh, and Gemini. Sorry, I forgot about Gemini. So it's always been twins. In Babylon, there were these twin gods that were like guardians of the underworld and of doorways, and there, you can actually find like they would bury little like statuettes of them at doorways, one on each side, and one of them was always on the left and the other one was always on the right. And then Greece was like, no, we've got our own twins, Castor and Pollux, but they couldn't fucking agree on the stories of Castor and Pollux. Like, it's like sometimes they're both immortal, sometimes only Pollux is immortal, sometimes neither of them are immortal, sometimes they're on the Argo, sometimes they're in like the Trojan War or something. And even through all of that, they were still used as like threshold guardians. They're painted on doorways in Pompeii. And it's just like, God, Greece was like taking all these stories from the constellations and reworking them to fit their own mythos. But they still kept some of the weirder parts, like being a threshold guardian is kind of a weird property to give these random demigod twins. But they got them from these Babylonian gods. And it's driving me crazy how much crazy shit there is here.
That's fun.
Comparative
Anyway, sorry about
mythology is a trip.
You're good.
There we go.
Finally.
Oh, and for those of you asking about Taurus, because it is apparently Taurus season, the original constellation in Babylon was the Bull of Heaven, which was a monster that Ishtar released and it fought Gilgamesh. And then they just kept it as a bull because why the fuck would you change it? So, some of them are kind of boring, sorry.
I would love to just know what season it was. Like, I only vaguely even know which sign I'm supposed to be, but then apparently they changed it at one point.
It's about what year you were born, not the current setup.
Yeah.
The Zodiac, because, Red, to your point, it's like, this is, Ea, the Bull of Heaven, and this is like Steve's goat, who's just one of the Zodiac signs.
Yeah. And Cancer, the crab, is interesting because it's always a crustacean of some kind, but it's not always a crab. Like, there's been versions where it's like, oh, it's a scorpion, or maybe it's a lobster, or something else, or maybe it's a word that could mean snapping turtle. Who knows?
No, snapping turtle is definitely the best one.
Oh, absolutely. And Libra is interesting, the scales, because originally, again, in Babylon, they were like this symbol of the sun god, who was also god of like justice and stuff like that. And then because they're right next to Scorpio, sometimes they kind of got seen as part of Scorpio, as like the claws, like big old pinchers and stuff. And then sometimes, like the Egyptians kind of saw it as like a boat. And then Rome saw it as scales again, because they put them in the hands of Virgo, which is another constellation nearby. So it was basically Lady Justice holding these scales. So that's why Libra is still scales, even though it went through kind of an awkward period of being a bunch of other things.
Oh, those flowers look like the one flower that is visible from outside the window.
Oh, yeah.
Basement level apartments are fun. We have one window that shows plant life, and it is one plant.
The hell am I supposed to do out here?
Do you have to change the time?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Can I make that jump?
Nah.
Not at all.
Maybe go up and around?
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop.
Nope. Okay, gotta go this way.
Whee. And then can you climb onto the minute hand?
No.
Sure.
Let's check my journal on the side of this open clock tower. I'm sure Sully's just looking from the bottom like, oh my god, Nate. What are you doing up there, kid?
Oh my God.
Sorry. I've seen some requests for some hot Virgo facts. Sorry, Virgo. Brain not working so good today.
I feel like I heard someone call someone that in high school. Hey, Virgil.
That one
Oh God.
really
Okay.
into the Aeneid.
That's what Dante
okay.
was, a Virgo.
God. Virgo. Sorry. Unfortunately, a lot of these stories are kind of boring. Virgo, there was basically this, like, grain goddess, Babylonian grain goddess, and they used that constellation for her. And then when the Greeks got a hold of it, they couldn't decide which plant-based goddess they should use. So sometimes it was Demeter, sometimes it was Persephone, and then there were also, like, a couple of heroes or heroines that would kind of just be slotted in, including one whose name was just like Parthena, which means virgin, and her entire story appears to be she was a virgin. She died. So basically nobody can decide exactly who that constellation represents because the person who it represented got overwritten by Greece. But yeah, sorry, kind of boring. Virgin goddess holding some grain. Fairly standard. Sagittarius is actually weird as all fuck, though. Because... Okay, so normally the image for the constellation Sagittarius these days is like a centaur with a bow drawn back. The original Babylonian version was like that with a few extra limbs. It had wings, a scorpion tail, and an extra head. This was like, and if you look at it, Babylonian art actually does have a lot of like centaur-like creatures kind of like that with like kind of a humanoid torso, a four-legged hindquarters, and wings. So that's not too crazy. And the bow also wasn't too crazy. Nobody can figure out if this was like a specific person or kind of like the Capricorn, just like a thing. And this is really hard to research, by the way, because people will like read one half of one sentence about this thing and then take it as like a full statement of fact. So like in this case, some people were saying, oh yes, this constellation represents Nergal, god of plague. And I was like, what? Nergal doesn't look like that. What are you talking about? And I looked up the source, and it was basically saying, oh yes, the weird secondary head on this weird centaur thing is kind of like a panther, similar to some symbols of Nergal.
Ugh.
So one part of this chimerical monstrosity kind of looks like this other guy who doesn't actually look like it. That doesn't mean the constellation is Nergal. It seems to just be like a dude. And then Greece like streamlined it, made it a centaur, couldn't decide which centaur. Sometimes it's Chiron, sometimes Chiron is another constellation. Basically, Greece has like a whole set of myths about, and then this being was put into the heavens as a constellation forever, and they are all to explain existing Babylonian constellations they ripped off.
Nice. Hey, if
And
you're
Leo's
gonna
really
gonna steal someone else's OC, at least world build it in, right?
Yep. And Leo is interesting because it's a lion. It's been a lion for a really, really long time. We have no idea who the first people who were like, that's a lion is, because everyone seems to agree, yep, that looks like a lion. And the Babylonians were like, yep, sure is a lion up there. Yeah. And then the Greeks were like, it's specifically the Nemean lion. But everyone else was like, shut up, it's just a lion. Come on, man.
It's just Steve's lion.
Yeah, just Steve's lion. And I already mentioned Ares the goat was derived from Tammuz, Ishtar's boyfriend and like shepherd guy. Basically, he like tended goats, and then it was like, so it's Tammuz, and then there was like, no, it's Tammuz's goat, and then they're like, no, it's just a goat, and that's the story of Ares.
It's just
God, I apparently absorbed a lot of this.
Let's just dodge out of the way as this entire tower comes crashing down.
Oh, Nathan. I look away for 5 minutes and look what you did.
Thanks, love.
Oh, sorry. Did you want some?
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You
I'm
can
all
have
right.
some.
Oh my gosh, you made it with a good olive oil too. Ah, Cyan brought some bread, mozzarella, and the bomb-ass olive oil. Oh,
Oh God.
exquisite.
Come on, guys.
We have the 2 olive oils. The one we keep in the giant jug, and then the nice one. Because Greek boy.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll just open up the container of oregano and just give it a whiff, like, oh, that's the good stuff.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so stay tuned for that video at some point. But
Yeah, it's coming. I gotta
rabbit
research
holes,
it.
man. What a time.
Actually, what was interesting is, so there's the Zodiac, and then there's also the Chinese Zodiac, and they are very different things. And I was going into the Chinese Zodiac expecting a total rabbit hole, and it is a rabbit hole, but it kind of stops abruptly a few feet down. Because basically, so first off, the Chinese Zodiac is very interesting because it doesn't. The reason it has the 12-year cycle is because it follows the orbit of Jupiter, which has an orbital period of almost 12 years, just under. So basically, they would see Jupiter advancing through 1/12 of the sky every year or so, and they were like, oh, okay, and they called it the year star. So each year is basically set by where Jupiter. The Chinese Zodiac animals are not constellations. There are no constellations for the Chinese Zodiac animals. The constellations, it's not even constellations, I think they're asterisms, which are basically groups of stars, not quite constellations, they're considered different things. And the sky along the zodiac, which is the astronomical term for basically the space of the sky that an orbital body moves through, so the zodiac is just that region of the sky, the zodiac is subdivided into 28 equidistant, quote-unquote, lunar mansions, which are just basically the set of stars in that section that the moon moves through every day, because the moon has a rough orbital period of 28 days. So that's like the only constellations in the Chinese zodiac. It's just those asterisms and the lunar mansions, which are each in like 4 categories of these like 4 celestial animals and all that jazz. But the Chinese zodiac, those are just like on the yearly basis, and I'm so mad they don't have any constellations. I was really looking forward to that, but they're just not there.
No.
And the list of the animals in the order they're in is pretty much constant and seems to be so old that it predates the introduction of cats from India.
Wow.
And you may notice cats are kind of a big deal in like China because like, you know, that there's all the symbols of like the lucky cat and stuff like that. So there's all of these explanations for why the cat is not one of the Chinese zodiac animals, and they're all different because, you know, the actual reason seems to be, well, when we set these animals up, we didn't have cats. But my favorite explanation is that when the animals were pulled aside for the zodiac race, the cat was like, "Hey, my good buddy rat, listen, I want to sleep in, but I don't want to miss the race. So can you give me a wake up call when the race starts so I don't get late?" And the rat's like, "Sure," but the cat's like really elegant and scares them, and the rat doesn't wake them up and then wins the race, and the cat is so mad that that's why cats hunt rats.
That's hilarious.
Anyway. It's so funny. And then this it also explains why the pig is in last place, because they were like, shit, where's the cat? Just get the first animal you can see. And they find this pig, and the pig gets like bored halfway through the race and runs off to like eat a bunch of stuff and fall asleep. So, stars, man.
Stars. Stars are whack. There's way too many of them. Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold on. So I pick this one up.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this one can be on this side. That's okay. This one, no, wait, no, let's go back. Inspect item. Put that away. Pick that up. Put that over here. Flip that. Flip that. Bingo.
Nope.
Cool.
Woohoo!
Now they match.
Whoop whoop. Sorry if I'm being quiet. I'm eating bread and cheese, aka the best things.
No, you're having the most fun here.
No worries. And I've just been talking for like 20 straight minutes, so.
That's okay.
I feel like I should talk about something, but I don't know what to talk about.
Fun fact, the only things that I know for a fact I'm not allergic to are cheese and bread. Or more accurately, gluten and dairy. That's the only things that they actually allergy tested me for, and they both came back negative.
There we go. Cool. Wow, I only had to turn one dial. Love when that happens.
Woohoo! Woo! More of them.
So the next History Summarized is going to be that Meiji Restoration video. After that, I'm doing another History Hijinks on failed assassinations.
Woo woo!
Hell
Three of them.
yeah.
Right now, the set I have is Mithridates, who tried to failed assassinate. Heck.
Oh no.
Who?
Party foul.
I dropped some bread. Ah.
That's what a party foul is, right?
I think so. I don't know.
You have an iPhone?
Yeah. Mithridates, the gunpowder plot where someone tried to assassinate all of Parliament and failed. And then I'm debating between Rasputin and Fidel Castro, but I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to do yet.
I feel like Rasputin's not a failed assassination.
Well, everyone else tried to fail assassinate him.
Oh, that's true.
Just like how the CIA tried like 27 million times to kill Castro and never got him.
Ugh.
No,
Exploding
the bread.
cigars, all kinds of stuff.
It's good bread. I
Why
post
is
all
my
the bread
phone-
I make on the on my Instagram. So if you like pictures of bread,
Who
you're
doesn't
lucky.
like pictures of bread?
People who don't like bread and or can't have bread. I don't know. If you don't like pictures of bread, sound off in the comments.
Food wars over here on the OSP stream.
Listen, I don't know what you thought I could contribute to this video game. I don't even know what's going on.
We're using these really stuffy portraits of all these pirate founders to figure out where these little symbols go. And there's, oh, this picture is on its side, so we have to pick it up. I think one of these guys is the guy from Monkey Island. A nice little Easter egg. Is this guy? No. Actually, might be. There's one guy. No, it's not. There's one guy who I don't think is named. He might show up later, but he's the character from Monkey Island, which is a fun little Easter egg that the Naughty Dog devs put in. So, let's organize some squares. Riveting gameplay here. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my Instagram is Cyan Bakes. You can find it on my Twitter or by just probably looking it up. I think I'm the only Cyan Bakes. It's a picture of Blue from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends, aka me giving finger guns with sunglasses as the profile picture.
Hey.
And the most recent post will be cookies and then bread.
Alright, I think after we finish this puzzle, there's a big action set piece, and then we will call it then. Okay, so we have
Sounds good.
the fish, the trident, and the skull hands with cups.
Any chemistry
So-
history stories? I mean, not off the top of my head. I mean, there's a lot of fun chemistry stories, but I'm not exactly a science historian. I'm just a scientist.
Hey.
Hey.
No, but seriously though, I spent most of the day learning about LCMS troubleshooting. It's fun. I'm also an engineer, so I do a lot of tech stuff with my science.
There we go. That matches. And this one has to be long sides. Long sides. Okay. Fish going to the right, trident pointing to the left, hands upside down. Alright. Fish going to the right, trident going to the left, hands upside down. Fuck.
Well,
There we go. Cool.
Cyan Bakes is a 15-year-old baker.
Okay. So who do we have here?
Press X to doubt. All kinds of stuff happens in the comments.
I
man.
don't know, man.
I just want
If you
That way
found
madness lies.
a picture of Cyan baking, then you're confused. There's an underscore. But I can really only help you so much. Like, I can't post this link
Yeah.
into your
Yeah,
brain.
this is the dude from Monkey Island. He doesn't have a name.
Monkey Island.
That's one.
I always respect the lengths that the developers go through on Uncharted games to make all this lore fit together.
Yep.
There's a good part of the interview with left to right, Edward, England, Turkmen Malik. Never seen the monkey sigil before. Yeah, Yazid Al Basra. It is cool they have pirates from all over because it's not just a bunch of Englishmen in the West Indies. Pirates were everywhere, every corner of the globe, doing all kinds of shit. But
You know, I also kind of really like how. Oh.
yeah, no, go
Kind
ahead.
of really like how smartphones have been integrated into many video games these days.
Yeah.
Indian. Close.
Yeah.
Muggle.
Hey, not the muggles, the ones
I
that
googled
were
cyan bakes and got how to make cyan terracotta in Minecraft.
If that's ever the case.
My dude, you look up some interesting things. Try adding the word Instagram.
Edward England.
Stout little fellow.
All right, you can just have a piece of bread.
Well,
while
staring at this
loading screen
wonderful
loads.
pole arm.
Yeah,
Get yourself a pole arm. Don't get yourself a pole arm if it's illegal where you live.
I think this is technically a halberd, which is basically a useless weapon to have on your own because the point is way too heavy. But in an armed, like in a massed formation, super useful. Gotta bring back
Just
pole arms.
walk and stab. What shade of blue is blue? Well, blue is blue.
Yeah, you see.
He's the
Hope
blue
that clears
shade.
things. Yeah.
Duh.
I'm a primary color. Cyan is a primary color. Blue is just merely a shade of cyan.
Oh God.
We're getting printer colors up in here.
We'll figure this out.
Oh, what the heck?
People are like, I can't
Color-based
find it.
hierarchy.
If you find the OSP Twitter, I'm tagged in one of their recent tweets, the one where we did a drinking game.
Oh yeah, Rick
Yeah.
Steves fucking tweeted me. Oh my god, life goals achieved. Oh, that was so satisfying.
But yeah, it's on my Twitter. I don't really use Twitter much, so I'm sure it's not that hard to find. Are these just the question mark guys?
No, these are the guys in the middle, but we don't know what their sigils are supposed to. I don't know. I put the triangles together. That's just how I do this game.
No, pick up that one. Turn it left 1 or right 3 times. Yeah, there you go. See, that should line up. Yeah, see, right? 4 and 4.
Is this? But are they spaced right?
Oh,
no, there's a gap. Oh boy.
Well, but the tiger has 4. No, tiger.
Hold on,
Hey.
because these two don't match. Oh no. It's
Well,
back.
look, this tiger has 4 that can line up with the other guy's 4. Yep, turn that. 1 more. No, turn it 2 more times. See, that 4 will match up with the.
No, but there's oh
no,
wait,
so
no, you're
Malik,
right, you're right.
the
you're
one
right,
that's on
you're right,
Malik.
you're
Yeah,
right,
pick
yeah.
that up, move that. Move tigery boy over.
No, wrong one. Ah.
No. Just move the tiger boy over.
No, the tiger boy has to be on that one.
Ay, fine. Okay. And see, then pick that guy up and put him in the
Yeah.
same orientation.
Yep.
Yeah. And then rotate
And this
Mr. England
one.
by 2.
All right. Okay. Scales upside down. Oh wait. Then these two are. Oh my god. I just have to. Okay. Scales upside down. Tiger going towards the ground.
And Malik
Is everyone having fun?
Puzzles.
Tiger. Well, you know what order they're in. So look back on your thing.
Oh yeah. I
The
guess
question
we do.
mark
Yeah.
should be pointing up, but if
Question
it's
mark.
not pointing up, it's
To the right and then down. Okay.
Yeah. That's your left.
Oh yeah. No, that is left. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Cool. I think that's the last of them.
He's blue, abu dee dabu die, dabu dee dabu die.
I'm not sure yet.
Maybe send it to Sam.
Maybe send it to Sam. Where is Sam, by the way?
Who said he's the pirate expert?
Let's see.
You know, they stop rendering him when you're doing your own thing.
Well, but they said
Save-
they were going to send it to him, so clearly
One.
he's outside of shouting distance.
Is the gameplay right now really making me take pictures? Oh my god.
Ha!
Someone spent weeks programming in these 3 animations for taking pictures with a cell phone.
And they,
Oh my gosh.
they were probably like, ugh. Probably because the developer was like, no, make it modern. Give him an iPhone. And they were like, well, what do you want me to do with his iPhone? Well, make him take pictures of something.
Snap! What a sizzler.
What are you doing?
God, I really wish you could just have him like fucking live tweeting his entire adventure. Just goofy ass selfies everywhere he goes.
That's the next Uncharted game.
Smartphones, obviously. So this would have been the only way for them to get to the next clue.
I think the video is lagging a bit. Maybe, guys,
Slightly.
like, come on, it's the end of the stream. It's fine.
Are we gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna do the action set piece, and then we're gonna call that.
We only fixed technical problems in the first 30 minutes. Any technical problems
Yeah,
after that?
after that, we're
Yeah,
in. We'll fix it
sorry.
next stream.
Can you take
That's the
selfies?
will
No.
of the universe.
Guess that we are packing our bags again.
God, I wish you could take
Unfortunately,
selfies in this game.
Can't take selfies.
I know. Zelda does let you take selfies. It's so fun.
Only after we get the camera. God.
Oh, it can't be.
Can't be what?
Now, Drake is being dramatic about how this is the guide to their pirate city.
Beautiful mind shit. What the hell are you talking about?
Jesus is enough with this mind is beautiful shit.
I've actually seen Beautiful Mind. I think that might be where the red string on a corkboard aesthetic comes from.
Huh.
Hey, Rafe.
I don't know. I'm just pulling that out
maybe.
of my ass.
I've also never seen it.
Isn't it Beautiful Mind?
Sullivan leave it on
The
a
one
cocktail
about the
napkin?
guy who was a professor and they thought he was working on something, but he was actually just like dreaming it all.
No, wasn't that? No, this is. Oh, jeez, it shows how young we are.
I'm gonna
when
look
this
up a
movie's
plot
just-
summary. Don't worry.
That's the one with it was Nash, right? The
Yeah, that-
statistician.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
that
was.
wasn't the Beautiful
Was that
Mind?
Gerard Butler? No, Russell Crowe, the other one.
Oh, please, don't ask me to name actors. I
Gerard Butler? No, Russell Crowe. Yeah, it's Russell Crowe. Wow, he looks.
don't
young.
even know who plays Nathan Drake unless you say his...
Nolan North.
Yeah, see, how am I supposed to remember that? He has a fake name.
Which name sounds faker, Nathan Drake or Nolan North?
Okay, I looked up A Beautiful Mind. It's
Go home.
It's a biographical drama film based on the life of the American mathematician John Nash. God, this already sounds. Oh, okay. Early in the film, Nash begins to develop paranoid schizophrenia and endures delusional episodes while watching the burden of his condition. Sorry,
was
while
I
watching
right
the burden
about
of his
a movie
condition.
thing?
You were.
I was right about a
brings on his
movie
wife and his
thing.
good friend. All right, let me just see if the plot summary is a little more. Well received by critics, but has been criticized for its inaccurate portrayal of some aspects of Nash's life,
Oh, yeah.
especially
No,
his
it's
other
actually
family
super
and a
inaccurate.
son born out of wedlock.
Yeah.
However, the filmmakers have stated that the film was not meant to be a literal representation of Nash's life. I'm sorry. That sounds like a fucking cop-out to me.
Yeah,
Oh, we
that's.
made a biographical film. What, you thought this biographical film was gonna be a biography? Who's the idiot now?
That's on the
It
scale
was-
of cop-outs. That's an entire police force out of
If I
cops.
remember correctly, they like portray him in a much nicer light than they probably should have. But no, I actually did see this movie, and yes, I quoted the correct movie.
Yeah.
This has never happened and will never happen again.
It reminds me of the theory of everything where it's like, yeah, sure, this is like nominally biographical, but like Hawking was way more mean to his wife. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Very similar, actually, in this one. Do you want the last piece of mozzarella?
Yeah, I'll have the last piece of mozzarella.
Also, someone said, can you post the recipes you use in your Instagram? I mean, if you ask for a specific recipe on a post, I'll probably give it to you, but like, I don't have recipes for all the things I make. Sometimes it's just a piece of fish that you put in the oven. And sometimes they're like in... A lot of my recipes are from cookbooks, so I can't like post the link because there's no link. It's a cookbook. But if you ask for a specific recipe, I'll do my best to give it to you.
Oh, I'm about to get us a fun trophy. Oh no, I've already gotten it. There's a trophy that if you stand perfectly still after this cutscene finishes for 30 seconds, you get a trophy because during the stage demo of Uncharted 4, right here, the controller wasn't working for 30 seconds. So on the stage demo at E3, it was just Nate standing perfectly fucking still. I think I already have the
didn't do
trophy,
it.
so I'm not going to do it now.
Dude,
God,
come
that's
No, because I
on.
got the trophy last time and it wouldn't show up because I already have the trophy.
Boo.
Yeah.
Also, they use the same characters, and I'm starting to notice it.
Yeah.
They use like the same character animations over and over again.
Yeah, that's game design, baby.
Also, the cat food arrived.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's good, because we need more cat food.
Yeah.
Turns out cats eat a lot of food. Especially your food.
Living creature.
Just throw these grenades in this Marcus.
Also, any jokes we make about Cleo, just know that she is loved and spoiled to the nth degree, and well taken care of. However, we also think she is a gremlin, and we love her for it.
Yup.
But she's also a gremlin. If we don't put foil around the plants, she tries to eat the plants.
Even the ones that are not good for cats.
Yeah, so we plastic wrapped them. So what did she do? She took the plastic wrap off and still tried to munch the plants.
Honestly,
At 3 in the
she's
morning.
an inspiration.
Cleo is a menace.
Oh, we passed $3,000.
Oh, hey!
Woo!
Hopefully we can
Feed
hit
America
5K
and we will
tomorrow.
give Cleo treats.
Yeah.
Feed America,
Let's see,
we'll feed
the-
Cleo.
The plan for tomorrow is a reading stream. Hopefully we can hit 5K when we're doing that. There's a poll on Twitter to pick the book. Still figuring that out. Odds are good. It's probably going to be a section of Journey to the West. Might throw up another poll to figure out which section.
Wait,
anyway.
there's a poll? I didn't see the poll. To be
What?
fair, I didn't go on Twitter.
Well, there's your problem right there.
Come on, Red, why didn't you just stream it directly into my mind?
God damn it.
I think those are called phone calls.
Who
Oh.
calls on the phone anymore?
Blue, because it makes me anxious.
Yeah. Oh.
We had to call the vet the other day, and I was like, hi,
Oh,
please
good
check up my cat at some point after the virus
Oh,
passes. And they're like, sure, how about June? I'm like, June's fine.
I think, what was it? I think, like, senior year of college, I was like, you know what, I should get, like, a general doctor's appointment checkup. I should make an appointment with a doctor myself. Oh, God. And, after about 2 weeks, I was like, I'm gonna do it! And I called the doctor's appointment. I was like, hey, I'd like to make an appointment for blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, okay, does this not work? Yeah, that's fine, thank you, okay. We also recommend this appointment. Okay, that's fine. And I hung up, and I was like, woo! I'm gonna call my bank! So...
Reggie gone
Yeah.
mad with power.
I mean,
when you're riding the adulting train, there's no brakes.
definitely one of the weirdest points in high school was senior year when I, being the only female senior in our section for marching band, yes, marching band, was nominated to call and order us pizza, but I had actually never called for takeout before because we just, like, there wasn't that many restaurants that did takeout. I didn't live in a super populous area at this time. So, like, if you really wanted pizza, you just went and got a pizza. Like, it was fine. So I was like, how does one order delivery? But also,
Why were you...
Why was I
Wait, why were
nominated
you
to order
nominated?
delivery despite the fact not knowing how to order pizza for delivery? Because I was female. That's a different story.
What the
God.
fuck?
We're gonna die.
But long story short, I was also too anxious to ask anyone how to order delivery, so I just called the place. I'm like, do you guys do delivery? And they're like, yes. I'm like, can I order delivery? And they're like, yo, what do you want? And I'm like,
Oh, God.
pizzas. And they're like, yeah, what pizzas do you want? I was like, 2 mozzarella stick pizzas. And they're like, I'm like, do I pay you now? They're like, with what? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, God. It's not quite the same, but in college, I would like order food sometimes, but I didn't do it very often. But like at home, you know, when I was in like middle and high school, we would order delivery like about every week. So I knew how my mom talked on the phone to order delivery. So I would just kind of like mimic that, like the 2 times I ordered, like, hello, yes, I'd like to place an order for delivery, please. Yes, so yes, I'd like to get, and just like, I'd pitch my voice up like a full octave, and then after, like, I didn't think it was weird until after when I noticed my roommate was like, dude, what the that was like, you were like a totally different person while you were ordering those pizzas. And I was like, I don't know, man! I don't know how to order pizzas as myself! Who am I?
Oh, also, I played mellophone in marching band. I was mainly an orchestra kid, and our band and orchestra director was the same person. He was like, hey, Caroline. Sorry, I did it again. But you, it doesn't matter. You seem like a good instrumentalist. I'm like, oh, I thank you. And he was like, you should play mellophone. I'm like, oh, what now?
Heck.
And he was like, you should play a mellophone. I'm like, it's okay. So I wanted to quit field hockey anyway, so I joined a marching band and did that for 2 years. And by the time I graduated, I could actually play the instrument. It only took 3 years.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, in the field of customer service voices, my voice, like Red's, fully goes up about an octave whenever I'm trying to be polite on the phone. Like, hi, yeah, I'd like to call about the application we submitted for our wedding venue. I know that things are a little bit difficult right now, but we just wanted to check and see if you'd received our app, and you know, so on and so on. And then it's like I finished the call, I'm like, oh God, okay, back to my regular speaking register.
Someone said, to be fair, we had like no mellows, and I feel like this is actually someone that I was probably in marching band with, because that's how I became mellow. Our section was 3 French horn players and 7 orchestra kids who got recruited. And I don't know, I don't really have a phone voice. I have my, I worked in college admissions for a little bit, so I have my dealing with parents voice, which is just like, yes, so unfortunately, we don't have any tours available for that day. Yes, I'm sorry that you're coming from 30 minutes away, but some of these people are coming internationally and they booked it more than a week in advance. Well, your options are you can come into our office.
Or fuck off!
God, customer service. See, the thing is, like, I have the customer service voice, but if I get frustrated, the frustration overrides the anxiety that's keeping me polite. So, like, at one point, like, several years ago, I had to, like, actually call my bank because, there was, like, a fraudulent charge on my card, but it was, like, a weekend, and they weren't in. So, like, I left a message, and I was like, hello, just, trying to call because, I've noticed there's, like, a fraudulent charge, it's only $1, but I'm a little worried about this. And then, like, the third time, I was like, so that fraudulent charge I told you about has now turned into $100, and I would really like your help in fixing this, please.
Wow.
And, we got it sorted out, but I was like, the first 2 times I was just like, God, thanks, I'm scared. And then after that, I was just like, God damn it, pick up the phone. So,
Oh yeah, my anger will
no.
definitely override my customer service voice. If you get me going enough, it takes a lot. Again, I dealt with parents. That was the best thing about moving to graduate college admissions. Graduate school people don't bring their parents with them most of the time.
Yeah, and if they do, you can kind of be like, dude, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, which is a big difference from undergraduate parents, which, sorry if you're an undergraduate parent, I'm sure you personally are fine, but I've had parents, like, throw books at my coworkers. I've had people, like, tell their child to climb behind me so they could sit in the chair that I was actively sitting in. I had parents show up day of and be like, what do you mean I don't have a reservation? I'm like, did you call and make a reservation? And they're like, no. I'm like, I'm sorry. What?
Sorry, not to... real quick, we can get back to the customer service voice in a minute, but to the person loudly posting Last of Us 2 spoilers in the chat, I hope you enjoy being timed out.
Ooh.
And also, fucking stop, you asshole.
God
Seriously,
damn.
what are you even doing, man?
Oof. Thanks to the person who, for $1.49, sent a picture of pie.
Love those super stickers.
Donate to Feeding America. Thank you. Oh, people are
this one can
congratulating
explode.
us. And someone's saying poor Cyan. I don't know why. Probably for working in college admissions. That's
It's probably about the customer
Yeah,
service
I feel
thing.
like, I really hope that's not about that.
the engagement.
Yeah.
No,
Cyan,
no,
run,
no.
he's a nerd.
The secret is I'm the bigger
I'm sure
nerd.
you had no idea of knowing this before.
That's the thing, like, people who, like, know me from before we were dating are like, Blue, run, she's a nerd. But to you guys,
Come
I seem
on.
like less of a nerd. But that's a
The
lie.
resident cool kid on the channel.
Yes, the engineering science person. The resident cool kid on the channel.
Oh boy. But yeah, customer service voice. It's crazy, man. It's like forced politeness really bugs me, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, be honest with me. Be rude and honest with me, please, if I deserve it.
That's fair, yeah.
Don't humor me.
Someone asked when's the wedding? Well, we don't know yet. That's why we're trying
Yeah.
to call these people.
On account of the incident.
Yeah,
The
the
incident
church
has
and the
been-
venue are currently not dealing with scheduling right now. Where am I
Oh,
supposed
God.
to jump to? Where the hell am I supposed to jump to?
You're supposed to hold for the weapon. Oh shit, you
No,
dead.
because there's nothing to jump to.
Just out.
Okay.
I mean, fingers
Try that next
crossed that things are like open by June because there's a wedding I'd like to go to around then that I
Yeah.
have no idea how the world's gonna look like around then.
Red, I messaged our friends about that, and they're like, "Oh,
Green and
I'll-
green.
I'll check my mail." Like, guys, have you not gotten the mail? Like, I got this a couple
Oh
days ago.
no no
so-
no! See
so-
that's
the
the
other
nightmare. That's why I haven't messaged my people because I don't want to be like, so how's about that invitation to that great party? And they're like, what invitation?
To be fair, they should have gotten it before we did,
Yeah.
but I don't think
I
they've
mean-
checked their mail.
Yeah. And the funny thing is,
I-
it's fine. So
Yep.
yeah, Red and I have an event we'd like to go to in June. Let's see how that goes.
Yep.
Time to bail.
Oh, good stuff.
Woot. This nail.
Oh, that's Sam. Oh, I need to jump to Sam.
Ah. Just not shoot Sam.
There we go. I like how when you shoot the driver in the head, it auto-triggers the car exploding.
Yes.
There's
Hell
a neural
yeah.
link between the driver and... Okay, I'd like to get up, please.
No.
There's a faulty nitro booster and they always hit it reflexively when they die.
Yeah. The person suggesting we get married in Vegas. No, I
Didn't
want to never
your
go
mom
back there
suggest
again.
that?
No, my aunt suggested we elope and get married in the woods, which is way more fun.
Funny story about that. I have an aunt who eloped and got married in the woods.
Oh,
It was a pretty exciting.
Oh, this changes
thing.
everything.
Also, we got a top donation. Love from Malta Gozo.
Oh.
Donated 690 420.
Oh
No,
my
wait,
God, you
694,
legend.
20. Hell yeah.
Oh, wow,
beautiful.
what a champion. Thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Love from Malta Gozo. Gozo, being the northern island in the Malta archipelago, is not as populous as the main island, but it's still very pretty in its own right. Less, I think it was less, oh, wow, okay, I'm just gonna accept that.
Oh wait, maybe you're supposed to jump to the trucks.
Yeah,
Chat says
yeah,
we
I
did
did
that.
that.
Don't worry.
That's
Okay,
the
okay.
move.
You're on delay.
All right, sorry.
Oh my God, I want to go to Malta so badly. It's so goddamn pretty.
Too bad there's the incident.
Too bad the Backstreet Boys are on tour.
We have Malta at home. Malta at home.
We don't even have Malta at home. Rick Steves hasn't done an episode on it.
God.
I was gonna say
the only
Malta
thing
at
more
home is just a really pretty picture.
Yeah.
The only thing more dangerous than watching travelogues right now is like going on Google Earth and hitting the random location button.
Yeah, Red, you messaged me a couple days ago that you're like, I just started taking the notifications without even checking where they are. I'm like, oh, buddy, that's
Yep.
that's dangerous.
Yeah. Because sometimes Google Earth, like I have the app and it'll pop up like, would you like to explore a 16th century abbey in Switzerland? And I'm anything Google Earth. So, yeah.
I like that.
It's
That's
not
your
good.
Google Earth voice.
Yeah. Hey, baby. You want to see these cool volcanoes? You know it, Google Earth.
Okay, and we're stopping this in its tracks.
Hey.
Since when are the Backstreet Boys on tour? Oh, sweetie.
So,
Oh, sweetie, no.
So the Game Grumps have been using the euphemism of the Backstreet Boys are on tour to talk about the plague. So that's what this
Which
whole
we
thing's
can't name
about.
drop or we get demonetized.
Yeah, which is so unfortunate because I named our fundraiser OSP versus COVID speedrun any %. But if we say it too much, we'll get flagged.
Yep.
Well, they want to make sure you're
It's
not
the-
spreading misinformation.
Which is
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
great name for a campaign, and I'm so mad that I can't say it more. Ugh, oh well.
Google Earth dating sim when? Never. No. Goodbye.
No.
But yeah, anyway, Malta's great.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
my video on it for why it's great. Uh-oh.
You haven't been, have you?
Well, no, I made a video on it. I know it's cool from afar, even if I haven't, like, been.
That's okay.
I've
Never
to
been, but I'm
same
really into the
lame
culture.
town outside of Athens for the past 24 fucking years of my
Aw,
life.
It was nice.
It's nice. It's not 24 years nice, man.
Honestly, I feel like that's like peak first world problem. Ugh, Athens again?
It's not even
God.
Athens.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. It's actually not Athens, and you can't get to Athens without being driven to a train station.
Athens is a day trip
Oh,
from this
okay.
place. Like, it's pretty,
a
but
beautiful
like, there's
Greek
one church, and
vacation
it's not enough to
again.
go back to every year.
The human malware.
Wow. That's good.
Because of
Get
our
married in Malta, guys. We can't afford that.
yeah.
And that's such a dick move to be like, hey, come to our wedding in Malta. Hotel's not comped, by the way.
We have millennial friends. Like, you think we
Destination
can afford a
wedding.
destination wedding?
God damn it.
The destination is like, hey, could you please come to where we live? That's the destination.
The destination is within walking distance of our apartment.
Oh my gosh.
The destination wedding. God.
The destination is the church down the street and the library further down the street.
Anything
Like,
is
actually,
a
the
destination
same
wedding
street.
if
You
live
can
far
only go
enough.
down the one street and still get there.
Oh my god, it is the same street. I mean, it's a long street, but it is the same street. Heck,
It's only like 2 miles away.
yeah.
Our blue-red Greek wedding? No. None of those things.
That's cursed.
Ew.
OSP is the best YouTube channel you know. Thank you for
Oh,
pointing
thanks.
it out.
That's sweet, but I'd like to say that Michael Reeves probably has us beat.
Oh my god, he went on Game
Did
Grumps
you guys-
a couple weeks ago and just caused havoc. He shoved a knife into a table. Oh man, that man
Did you
is
see
a
the
psycho.
video that he did yesterday?
No.
No, what?
Did you see the surgery robot?
He builds a surgery
Oh.
robot?
Dude, I fucking lost it like 2 minutes in and never got it back.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
crazy. I'll just get, it makes quite a mess, and that pineapple will never be the same. And I'll leave it at that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this would be so
Did I?
intense if we could hear what was happening in a game right now.
I know, right?
It's like watching a GIF right now. Like, oh, wow.
What if video game was GIF?
Noom. Noom. What's up, right upon us? I'm going as fast as I can.
Ah, god damn it, Drake.
It's gonna be close.
Do you guys remember when GIFs with sound were a thing? It was like the most circular way to just make funny videos.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Those builders are like, you gonna pay for this, asshole? Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I feel like the reason your wife knows what's happening is probably just because she like occasionally checks world news and it's like Trail of Havoc starting in Madagascar and blah blah blah. And she's like, God fucking damn it, he said it was a boys' night!
Well, no, here's the thing. It's like, this is the most high-octane part of the entire game, like ramping up from the town to the tower to the fight sequence to the chase to the other chase, and then it's like, oh my god, like high five and everything's so fucking cool, we're the best. And then the next thing that's about to happen happens and it's like, oh shit, right.
Yep. But meanwhile, the news is like, absolute panic in the streets as a giant clock tower collapsed, followed by what appears to be a high-speed chase with multiple explosives, and she's just like, shit, that's gotta be my idiot, isn't it?
And then she checks Drake's Twitter and it's like, climbed a tower, nothing else happened afterwards.
Yeah,
Hashtag
she's
oops,
just
hashtag
like,
lost
his
treasure,
Twitter's-
hashtag dead brother.
It's just got a selfie from like the top of the tower that just collapsed, and she's like, all right, okay. Where's the next plane?
Yeah, so this is the idea. Libertalia is the pirate colony where they kept all their treasure. So it's not just like a treasure, it's the entire city. It's not Uncharted without a lost city somewhere or other. So
Yeah, of course.
Is Draythan just okay now?
the cool thing is that basically like half of this game takes place in Libertalia, unlike Uncharted 3 where you're in Ubar for like 5 minutes.
And then you
or-
drop the MacGuffin back into the ocean, never to be
Yeah.
seen again.
Goodbye, MacGuffin.
I was not as big of a fan of Uncharted 3. It was set piece first, everything else later, which like, hey, I get it. They wanted like everything bigger and shinier, but Uncharted 4 hit a really great balance of like working you up through the search for the city and then finding Libertalia. Good as oh, hey, Elena.
What's up? That's exactly what she's doing. She's tracking the destruction.
You can see it on the map. Oh my god, what a time.
Hell the fuck yeah.
Really?
Because
what it looks like.
you're searching for Henry Aiken's buried
She even knows whose treasure it is.
It looks
oh my
like
god.
you're going on a treasure hunt without me, your wife, world.
You fucking asshole. Wife and fellow treasure hunter.
She's like, what do I do with this gun? Let's see.
This is kind of what it looks like.
This is kind of what it looks like. Oh, Drake.
Explain.
Is there any worse thing to say
It's gonna sound crazy.
as the opener than it's not what it looks like?
Yeah.
For starters.
I feel like, okay, I can explain is at least better because it like segues into it. I mean,
The
they're
correct
about
opening
equally
is,
useless.
I'm sorry. Let me explain.
Yeah. I feel like the correct opener in this case is, wow, you are just looking radiant tonight. How about we discuss this outside?
Sully's like, to be fair, I told him he should call you.
Yeah, Sully's like, don't blame me on this, man. I've been trying to get him to call you all the time.
Oh no.
I was obviously very wrong.
Years, and it's because of me. And the guy who broke him out wants a lot of money, and the only way we can pay
Oh,
off
Hector
the
Alcazar
debt
Gambit.
is Avery's treasure. But that's the good news. We found it. It's
The only way we can get him back is by finding Henry Avery's treasure or playing the stock market.
Yeah.
Nathan Drake becomes
There's
a day
no
trader,
way to-
gets blasted on coke, and starts selling Tesla futures.
There's no way to make this much money except by going on an epic quest or doing boring job stuff.
Or doing the Malaysia job and just giving him the money.
Yeah, God.
wanted to tell you.
I don't get
No, I
you.
wanted to, but how could I?
I don't know. Just
How could I? I don't know,
You
just
just
say it, dude!
just didn't have the nerve to face
I was
it.
protecting you from my
I knew you
past.
would react like
You mean
this.
our past?
How would you
Ooh.
react?
This is why communication is important in a
You
relationship.
lied to
Yeah.
me. For
You can't have like secret awesome adventures without your spouse, man.
If you were killed,
Especially when you're. This is like what your spouse does. Like, you know. in
Yeah,
other
this
things
is her
where it's
fucking
like-
job.
Yeah, when in other things when it's like, oh, I didn't want you to know about this other side of me. Like, she knows, man. She knows.
Yeah, dude. She knew you at your douchiest, dude. This isn't like a Spider-Man, like, oh, I can't date because it would be dangerous because my enemies might find them. This is more like, we're both equally badass, and I just really didn't want her along for this one.
I just wanted this to
Boys'
be
night.
my win, okay?
Yeah. I was having a midlife crisis. Life was boring. It was this or buying a Porsche, okay?
Like, oh no, my wife, whose body count is only slightly less than mine, might get upset that I'm treasure hunting again.
It's only less because you got the immersion breaking thing. She's like, I'm out. Go after her, you dick.
Hey, what are you doing? Go after her.
We're not done here.
Yeah, Sully knows what's up.
What are you saying?
I'm saying maybe there's
What
a
are you
smarter
saying?
way
I
to
mean,
say
you're a
it.
dumbass.
So we give him a new identity. We
I read that as we give him a new kidney. I was like, oh, okay, they're just gonna donate
okay,
organs.
fine.
You can never have too many kidneys.
You go after your wife, we'll go to Libertalia. Without me, yeah, because you decided to leave your wife out of this.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Drake, you're going in timeout, all right? You can't be a responsible spouse, so you have to stay here and deal with your wife while we go and have the awesome pirate adventure without
If
you.
you had just told your wife about boys' night.
Drake can't have
But
a
let's-
little Libertalia as a treat.
But let's be real, they're gonna get to the first, like, sliding puzzle and be like, what do we fucking do? Nathan normally handles these.
Just text him. You have phones.
Quick, call his wife!
They
Call
send
his
a
much
picture of, like, a
smarter
sliding
and
puzzle, they're
better
like, hey,
at everything
Nathan.
wife. Oh my god. I'm glad the game explicitly frames Nate as, like, being wrong and an idiot here.
Yep. Honestly, the way they wrote Nate and Elena, like, sometimes it almost feels to me like it's impossible for writers to write good couples, but then something like this happens and I'm like, oh, no, most of them just fucking suck. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, no, Nate
They're
and
just
Elena's a
bad
really good
couples.
couple. The way
Yeah.
their story progresses through the rest of the game is just, really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
And it's like it's writing characters in a relationship with which almost never happens because it's easier to write up to the first kiss and like, and that's that. Fill in the
Yep.
gaps for the rest. It's like, no, writing two characters in a relationship is much more interesting and also more involved and complicated and not the same played out plot line we've seen 1,000 times.
Look at this romantic boat ride. Wouldn't it be so much better if your wife was here?
Like, usually the most we get is like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, yes, we kissed, but now it's an unspoken thing. It's like bullshit and cowardly.
Yep.
Here's something more interesting.
Also, like, even in this case, like, the whole, oh, we had, like, a happy ending, but now we're, like, fighting. Like, that can be so played out and boring and also really frustrating. 'Cause it's like, god damn it, I want to see these characters happy together and playing off each other interestingly, not fighting and not talking to each other.
Give
Which is
me
why I
quips.
kind of... Yeah,
I mean,
but, like, the
that's-
way
yeah,
this game is doing it, like, you know, it's technically the same trope. It just, it feels better because she feels like a complete character. The conflict feels completely, like, reasonable for her to be upset about. And him kind of avoiding it also kind of makes sense. So it's more like, I hope these two sit down and talk this shit out, rather than, god damn it, writers, stop doing this. You know, any narrative thing that makes you aware of the hand of the author is going to be immersion breaking, and in this case it feels more like, okay, yeah, I totally believe Nate would do a stupid thing on the assumption he could get away with it, and Elena would not let him get away with it. And I totally get that they would kind of be grinding up against each other personality-wise. I should have phrased that literally any other way.
No, it's fine. It's
I'm just
fine.
gonna stop talking.
It's all, I've had like 3 phrasings, 3 streams in a week. It's only fair that you have one. No, but you're entirely right that, you know, it's conflict coming from an organic place where the beginning of the story is like, oh, Nate and Elena are at home. They're domestic now. They're not entirely comfortable with a life that's basically like, you know,
What they were
sans
doing.
adventure. Because even if they don't need to go killing people, like, their relationship was founded on this idea of adventure, and without it, something is missing for them. That's a natural and understandable source of conflict beyond, oh, we time skipped and now they don't like each other. It's like, guys, come on. So, anyway, I think
Are we
this
speaking
might
of
be a
Young
good part.
Justice, perhaps?
Yeah, not that I've seen it, it's just that I know everyone talks about it. I think...
Season 1, great. Season 2, fucking stop.
Yeah,
Season 3,
so I think this is as good a place as any to call the stream. Any last thoughts before we sign off? Cyan, Red?
Talk to your significant
Oh,
others.
this is...
Yeah, communication is key.
Tell them about your treasure hunting adventures.
Yep, this tea is still so disgusting.
Oh god. Well, you're gonna be done talking for the next, like, at least, hour presumably, so consider yourself done. You've done your time. Alright, well, this has been a wonderful stream. Our final total is 3,405. Not bad at all. You guys are killing it.
That's so many meals.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, friends.
We might have to raise the total partway through Red's reading stream if you guys keep up this good streak. And again, props to Love from Malta, Gozo, with $694.20. You're an absolute goddamn legend. Fantastic. All right. Catch you tomorrow with Red's reading stream. Check Twitter to see times and stuff on that. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.